Welcome back to Worlds of Protheka audiobooks. And if this is your first time, be warned. Once you step into Protheka, you'll never want to leave. With beasts who will stop at nothing to protect the women they love, and women who are only just finding out what a real man can be, you'll lose yourself in the dark romance of these fantasy stories. To bring you these free full audiobooks, we have to listen to this platform's guidelines, and they say that Protheka's steamiest scenes aren't allowed. But you can still get them from the unabridged version of any Prothekan audiobook. All you have to do is go to worldsofprotheka.com. With promo code YouTube30, we're offering you the opportunity to get 30% off of any audiobook, ebook, or bundle. We appreciate you subscribing to the channel, as it makes bringing these free full audiobooks to you possible. Don't forget to like and comment to let us know what you think. Protheka's magic is eternal, and this story is just the beginning. Chapter 1. Kara. The darkness of the mine presses in on me, suffocating and cold. I drag another stone across the rough ground, the jagged edges biting into my palms. My hands throb, raw and bleeding. I bite my lip to stifle a whimper, no time for weakness. "Move it, you scum!" A dark elf overseer yells, his voice sharp like the crack of his whip. The sound reverberates off the damp walls, making my heart race. I flinch but keep my eyes downcast, focusing on the weight of the stone and the rhythm of my feet against the rocky floor. The air smells stale, heavy with sweat and despair. Around me, other humans hunch over their loads, backs bowed under burdens far heavier than our bodies should bear. We've learned to work in silence. Any hint of resistance earns us a punishment worse than death. "Faster! Faster!" The overseer strides down the line like a predator stalking its prey. His violet eyes gleam with sadistic delight as he snaps his whip again. One of my fellow miners squeaks out a frightened yelp as the tip bites into his shoulder. "Keep moving!" I hiss at him, urgency in my tone. He nods but doesn't meet my gaze. We all know better than to draw attention to ourselves. I shuffle forward, weaving through shadows cast by flickering magical lights embedded in the walls. The dim glow illuminates just enough to reveal grim faces, each one a reflection of hopelessness mirrored in mine. "Get those stones out of here before I decide you need a taste of this," the overseer taunts, cracking his whip dangerously close to another miner's ear. My heart pounds as I push through the dirt and grime clinging to me like a second skin. Each day bleeds into the next, a blur of aching limbs and mind-numbing labour. Escape feels like an impossible dream wrapped in chains. "Why do we even bother?" One woman murmurs nearby, her voice barely above a whisper as she drags her own load. "We'll never be free." Her words resonate deep within me, igniting a flicker of rebellion that I quickly shove down. "Shut up!" I hiss back under my breath, casting a quick glance at our overseer. But she just shakes her head, defeated. Every ounce of strength drains from me as despair tightens its grip around my chest like a vice. Survival becomes instinctive, an animal's urge to hide and endure rather than fight back when all hope feels lost. The rhythmic clang of stone against stone fills the mine, a monotonous symphony of despair. My muscles ache, but the routine lulls me into a trance until it shatters like glass. A group of dark elves gather in the centre, their hushed murmurs slipping through the air like shadows. I freeze, heart racing. Something feels different today. The overseer barks an order for us to halt, his eyes scanning our faces as he gestures toward the circle forming among the elves. "Step aside, you wretches!" he snarls. We shuffle away, confusion brewing in our chests as they begin to lay out strange symbols on the ground. My stomach twists at the sight, a mix of ancient runes and shapes that make my skin crawl. The air thickens with tension as they chant in a language I barely understand. Whispers ripple through my fellow slaves like a gust of wind, curiosity battling fear in their wide eyes. I stay silent, drawn into the spectacle before me. Dark energy coils around us like a tightening noose. It prickles against my skin, making every hair stand on end. I want to turn away, to flee from whatever this is, but I can't look away. Then it happens. A rift tears open in mid-air with a roar that shakes the very foundations of the mine. A figure emerges from the chaos, tall and imposing, its glowing red eyes piercing through the dimness, like twin suns igniting flames of terror within me. His presence is suffocating. I can feel his power vibrating through the air, intense and chaotic. My heart pounds against my ribcage, each thump mingling fear with an inexplicable thrill that sends shivers down my spine. He doesn't belong here. That much is clear as he lashes out with primal fury. The force of his movement sends dark elves flying backward like ragdolls caught in a storm. Gasps erupt around me. Terror grips my fellow slaves as we stumble back. "Run!" someone yells, panic slicing through the air sharper than any whip crack. I should run too. My instincts scream at me to escape this madness, but something anchors me to this spot. I take an instinctive step closer, despite every rational thought screaming against it. A strange urge pulls at me, one I don't understand but cannot deny. As chaos unfolds, remaining dark elves gather their strength and form a line, their hands raised as if to wield magic itself against this towering figure. Energy crackles in the air around them like electricity before they unleash their combined power, a torrent of shimmering chains erupting toward him. He snarls and swats them aside like insects, but they're relentless. More chains coil around him, binding him with strength that pushes against his own raw power. The sight leaves me breathless. I've never seen anything like it. The overwhelming display of magic makes my pulse race faster than ever before. It's mesmerizing, yet terrifying all at once. I can't comprehend what's happening, why I feel this strange connection to him, or why my feet remain planted, even as others flee for safety. But one thing is clear. There's danger here beyond anything I've faced before. Suddenly caught between two worlds, the primal urge to run for survival, and an unexplainable pull toward this chaotic energy. I stand frozen while chaos swirls around me. I see glances exchanged among slaves and dark elves alike, horror mingled with fascination, and all I know is that everything has shifted beneath our feet in an instant. But fear reigns over reason. Instinct finally kicks in as those nearby scream and scatter into the shadows of the mine's depths. And so I run too, every ounce of desire to survive overriding whatever mysterious force had called me closer just moments ago. What in the abyss just happened?
Chapter 2. Azrael. Chains clank as I struggle against the bonds that bind me, each link a reminder of my humiliation. Cold metal bites into my skin, pressing against my muscles as I twist and turn, veins bulging under the strain. The dim room offers little comfort. Shadows creep across the stone walls like memories of a life that now feels light years away. My heart pounds with fury and desperation, each beat igniting a fire within me, a fire that longs to consume everything in its path. A powerful demon, reduced to a mere slave. One dark elf sneers from the doorway, a smug smile curling on his lips. He steps forward, flanked by two others, their laughter ringing in my ears like the death knell of my pride. I snarl at them, teeth bared. My muscles tense beneath the weight of the chains, but they hold fast, enchanted by their magic to suppress what I once wielded effortlessly. I could have torn this room apart with a flick of my wrist, sent these pathetic mortals scurrying like insects. Instead, here I am trapped and humiliated. "Look at him!" Another taunts, stepping closer to poke at my chest with a finger as if testing a beast caged for sport. Such ferocity wasted on servitude! The urge to lash out swells inside me. I can feel the darkness coiling in response to my anger, clawing at the edges of my mind like an old friend seeking reunion. But each time I reach for it, each time I try to summon that power, I feel it snatched away as if pulled from my grasp by an invisible hand. The chains glow brighter with each effort. Their magic holds me back tighter than any mortal could hope to. My fists clench until my knuckles whiten, trembling with the need for release, a need to break free and remind them all of what true power looks like. Do you see him? The first dark elf laughs again, cruel amusement lighting his violet eyes. A mere shadow of his former self. I roar in fury, an animalistic sound that echoes through the room and reverberates against stone walls, but even that primal noise feels stripped of its power when met with their mocking laughter. They approach closer now. Every word feels like salt on open wounds. "Tell us your name," one demands mockingly, as he leans down so close I can see the smirk etched on his face. "What's left of your nobility? What do you want us to call you? Pet? Plaything?" Each taunt digs deeper than any blade ever could. Their words rip through layers of pride and ego, until all that's left is raw rage and embarrassment bubbling just below the surface. With every passing moment trapped here in this cursed place, chained down not just physically but spiritually by this damned contract they've thrust upon me, a binding that weakens me more than any shackle could, it becomes harder to breathe through this agony of submission. They step back slightly, reveling in their victory, as if they've already won whatever battle we're waging between us. The war raging in their eyes, only stoking my anger further. I envision ripping them apart piece by piece, clawing through flesh until nothing remains but bone and blood. But all I can do is stare helplessly as they circle around me like vultures waiting for carrion. "Let's see how long it takes before he begs for mercy," one jeers over his shoulder at the others. "Mercy," I growl back despite myself. Every ounce of defiance courses through me like fire igniting an inferno. "You'll never see that day." Their laughter rises again, the sound grating against my ears, and something inside snaps just then. I lunge forward instinctively, despite being anchored down by chains too strong for brute force alone. But they whip me back down without hesitation. Pain lances through my side, where their cruel leather lashes strike hard enough to send shockwaves throughout my body, a painful reminder of who holds control here. Each sting fuels another surge within me. Anger morphs into determination, a burning desire not just to escape, but obliterate everything that binds me here in this pitiful existence, forced upon me by these lesser beings who dare mock my lineage. But even while trapped beneath their laughter and arrogance, the weight pressing upon me grows heavier still. I swear silently. They will regret this day when freedom comes crashing back into my life once more. The laughter fades into a dull roar in my ears, overshadowed by the pulsing fury within. I grip the chains tighter, feeling their magic constrict like a serpent around my throat. But then she steps into the room. She's small, barely reaching my shoulder, but her presence cuts through the haze of anger like a blade. Long, dark hair cascades down her back in disheveled waves, catching the dim light filtering through the barred window. The strands stick to her cheeks, matted with dirt and sweat, each droplet clinging like an anchor to her fading humanity. Her eyes dart nervously as she carries a tray of food, hazel depths shimmering with a mix of fear and determination. Scars crisscross her arms and hands, remnants of labor that have carved their mark upon her flesh. She wears tattered clothing that barely conceals her slim frame. Each rip tells a story of survival in this unforgiving place. Yet even in rags, there's something striking about her posture, a defiance that clings stubbornly to her spirit despite the weight of despair pressing down. "Her!" I growl, jerking my chin toward her. The dark elves pause, their laughter dying on their lips as they look between me and the human. "What about her?" an elf grunts. "She can serve me. Anyone else I will slaughter until you have no breathing workers." One of them smirks, his violet eyes glinting with mockery. "Even a slave deserves a slave, I suppose." They burst into laughter again, but I ignore them. My gaze locks onto Kara as she hesitates at the threshold. There's something beneath that layer of grime and fear. It pulses just below the surface like an untapped reservoir waiting for release. She glances up at me briefly, and for a moment our eyes meet, an electric connection igniting between us. In those fleeting seconds, something inside me stirs, a strange desire unfurling like flames licking at dry wood. I want her. The thought hits hard enough to make me momentarily forget my captivity. An instinct deep within urges me forward, to possess what's been denied to me for too long. The human woman swallows hard, taking a tentative step closer as if drawn by an unseen force. My heart races with each breath she takes. There's vulnerability etched in every line of her face, yet resilience dances in those haunted eyes.
Chapter 3. Kara. The dark elves' laughter rings in my ears, their arrogant chuckles slicing through the heavy air. I flinch at the sound, a reflex born from years of torment and punishment. "You are to serve him, human wench. That is your new purpose," one of them sneers, his voice dripping with disdain. Their cruel eyes linger on me as they start to leave, their contempt palpable. As they walk away, I feel the weight of their disdain settle on my shoulders like a lead cloak. But then the demon speaks again, his voice deep and haunting. "I need unchained to eat." A shiver races down my spine as I glance up at him. There's something in his gaze, an intensity that unnerves me but also draws me in like a moth to flame. I can't help but wonder if this creature, this demon, has the power to obliterate everything that holds us captive. Suddenly, a magic chain materializes around his neck, while the chains binding him to the wall vanish like smoke in the wind. The dark elves' taunts echo in my mind as they warn him of his limitations. "Your magic is of no use here. If you kill the human slave, you won't be getting another." Their laughter fades into silence, and I find myself alone with this being of darkness and fury. A demon. The very idea sends chills through me, not just from fear, but from an inexplicable thrill that flutters in my chest. I swallow hard and focus on my task, preparing his food. I've seen slaves bring meals before, nothing more than scraps thrown together hastily. But somehow it feels different now with him watching me. "What is your name?" he rumbles as he settles onto a nearby stone bench, muscles taut under obsidian skin. "Kara," I manage to say, my voice barely above a whisper. "Kara." He rolls the name over his tongue like it's foreign yet tantalizing. "I am Azrael." I try not to stare as I gather what's left of their meagre offerings, a stale piece of bread and a thin slice of meat that smells faintly rancid. My hands tremble slightly as I set them before him. Each motion feels weighted by uncertainty. His violet eyes study me closely. "You're afraid," he states simply. My breath catches in my throat. How can he see right through me? "It's not just you." He tilts his head slightly, assessing me like a predator sizing up its prey. "Fear can be useful," he says softly. I can't help but wonder if this demon is more than just an instrument of chaos, if there's something lurking beneath all that anger waiting for release. I'm still reeling from the weight of his gaze when I muster the courage to ask, "Do you need anything else?" My voice barely rises above a whisper, shaking despite my efforts to keep it steady. Azrael's lips curl into a dark smile, a wicked twist that sends shivers up and down my back. He steps closer, towering over me like a shadow threatening to swallow the light. "I want you," he says simply, his voice a low rumble that reverberates through me. My heart skips a beat, caught in the web of terror, and something I can't quite name. I'm frozen, caught in his gravitational pull as he reaches out and brushes a lock of my hair behind my ear. His fingers trail down my neck, igniting sparks along my skin. I shiver involuntarily at the contact. Each stroke feels electric. He touches me lightly at first, his fingers grazing my collarbone, skimming over my back, tracing the delicate curve of my shoulders. Each caress sends ripples of heat coursing through me, setting my senses ablaze. Azrael, I breathe, feeling vulnerable and exposed under his gaze. Do not speak. His tone is commanding, yet laced with an undercurrent of desire that sets my nerves on edge. Then he grows bolder. His hand slips beneath my tunic, fingers exploring the bare skin underneath. I gasp as his touch ignites something deep inside me, something primal and untamed. My body reacts against my will. It trembles under his fingertips as they roam lower, brushing against the swell of my bosom. I feel their heat rising to meet him, every nerve ending alight with awareness. What's happening? This shouldn't be right. My mind screams in protest, even as every fibre of my being betrays me. His fingers find their way to where they shouldn't be, and all I can manage is another gasp as pleasure crashes over me like a tidal wave. No. It comes out weak and breathless, but the heat pooling between my legs doesn't care about words or protests. I hate myself for how easily I succumb to this demon who embodies everything I should fear, yet somehow awakens an unquenchable desire within me. His hand finds its way beneath the fabric of my tunic. Warmth spreads like wildfire across my skin where he touches me. The world narrows down to just him and me. His powerful presence envelops me completely. I shouldn't want this, I murmur, even though every instinct begs otherwise. His fingers tease and explore with a boldness that leaves me breathless, each brush against my sensitive skin, amplifying an ache that's both unfamiliar and intoxicating. As if sensing my turmoil, he captures my gaze with his own, a blazing violet that holds promises of pleasure intertwined with danger. I am not here to harm you, he whispers, though the truth lies buried deeper than mere words can express. His touch feels like fire against ice, an irresistible contrast that drives me mad with need. My knees weaken as he continues his exploration. They buckle slightly beneath him, while uncertainty warps around us like smoke in the air. He's more than just a being bound by chains. He's an embodiment of raw power, and somehow that makes it worse. Azrael! My voice falters again as panic mingles with arousal, a toxic brew that leaves me dizzy. The dark smirk playing on his lips deepens as if he's relishing every moment spent unravelling me before him. What do you truly desire? Desire? The word ricochets through my mind like thunder in a storm, the reality of it crashing into place just as violently as everything else about this moment does. What do I want? How could it be him? But standing here under Azrael's command leaves no room for denial. I crave him in ways that unsettle me beyond comprehension, and those thoughts echo endlessly in the shadows dancing between us. It doesn't make any sense. I've only just seen him, barely met him. I know nothing about this sensation, these touches. What is this creature doing to me?
Escape this world and step into one where romance and magic intertwine across realms, with stories that are not just standalone tales, but part of a vast, interconnected universe.
Imagine not just one, but 100 stories, where characters, destinies, and legends cross paths in unexpected ways.
100 audiobooks from the Romantasy 100 book bundle.
These aren't just isolated stories. They share themes, worlds, and threads that make every journey feel part of something grander.
Fated lovers, ancient prophecies, and the delicate balance between power and passion.
Get all of these stories today for a mind-blowing 90% off. That's right, 100 audiobooks for the price of 10.
800 hours of audio where these alpha males prove just how puny the human men of Protheka are. 12 complete series where they show their human women what they've been missing and more.
One-time purchase, lifetime access to a universe of interconnected magic and romance.
Protheka's magic is eternal. With the Romantasy 100 book bundle, your pleasure will be too. Chapter 4. Azrael. I watch her closely, fascinated by the play of emotions across her delicate features: fear, confusion, desire. The scent of her arousal fills the air, a sweet perfume that only heightens my own dark cravings. My fingers continue their exploration, slipping lower, tracing the curve of her hip before dipping into the hot, wet core of her. Sorry for the interruption. I know you were gearing up for a steamy scene, but it's way too hot for this platform.
If we want to keep sharing our stories for free, we have to abide by this platform's guidelines.
To get the full, unabridged audiobook, go to worldsofprotheka.com.
Browse through unabridged audiobooks, countless ebooks and bundles offered at a discount.
If the thought of me whispering all the dirty details into your ear isn't enticing enough, use discount code YouTube30 to get 30% off of all digital products.
Story after story, audiobook after audiobook, the Worlds of Protheka are waiting for you.
Protheka's magic is eternal.
But unabridged, it's unforgettable.
The dark elves may control me for now, but with Kara by my side, I will find a way to break free from these chains. Together, we will rise. Together, we will claim what has been so cruelly denied us, our freedom. There's something in you, I whisper, more to myself than to her. Something powerful. I step back, leaving her panting on the floor, my mind racing. She's not just a human slave. I know that much. The way she responded, the fire in her eyes. There's a depth to her that defies everything I've been taught to expect from mortals. Kara rises slowly, trying to gather herself, her breath coming in shallow gasps as she meets my gaze. A part of me wants to pull her close again, to lose myself in that intoxicating connection we just shared. But another part urges caution. This world is filled with treachery. I can't afford to trust easily. I watch her leave, my eyes narrowing in thought. Desire twists in my gut, not just for her body, but for all of her. Heart, soul, everything she keeps hidden beneath the surface. It feels like a calling, something deep and primal pulling me toward her. What is it about this girl? I don't understand why I crave her so fiercely, but the need gnaws at me like an insatiable hunger. The dark elves may think they've captured me, but I sense an escape route forming, one that involves Kara at its center.
Chapter 5. Kara. Days blur together in the dimness of the chamber. I'm still reeling from the encounter with Azrael, my body responding to him in ways I can't explain. The memory of his touch lingers, a sweet torment that makes me crave more, while also filling me with dread. When he calls for me again, I hesitate at the threshold. His voice slices through the air, sharp and commanding. I need you to help me. I step inside, confusion knitting my brow. He paces the room like a caged beast, chains clinking softly with each step he takes. Help you? How? My voice is small, almost timid, but it's hard to ignore the tremor of anticipation beneath my fear. Azrael stops and turns to face me, his intense gaze piercing through me like fire. There's magic in you. I can feel it, he says, his fists clenching at his sides as if holding back a storm. Magic? The word feels foreign on my tongue. I recoil slightly, doubt creeping into my mind like an unwelcome guest. I'm only human, I protest weakly. If they catch us, do you want to stay a slave forever, or do you want to take your revenge on them? His growl silences my fears, hitting me like a punch to the gut. My heart races at the thought of revenge. It's something I've fantasized about during long hours of labor in the mines, a sweet dream drowned by hopelessness and despair. But now, the possibility hangs in the air between us like a charged spark. What do you mean? My voice shakes as I ask, fear wrestling with an unexpected thrill. I need you to unlock whatever power lies dormant within you, he insists, stepping closer until his presence envelops me entirely. The air grows thick with tension, a magnetic pull drawing me nearer, despite my instincts telling me to flee. But how? I stammer, fighting against a swell of emotions, curiosity mixed with fear and desire. Azrael leans down slightly so that we're eye level. His intensity is suffocating, yet strangely comforting. You must focus your will, he explains slowly, as if unravelling a complex riddle. Your bloodline holds potential, an incubus heritage waiting to awaken. I blink up at him, trying to process his words. But what if it's too dangerous? What if it hurts? A flicker of frustration crosses his features before he softens slightly, though there's still that predatory glint in his eyes. Everything worth having comes at a price. His gaze pierces mine with an intensity that makes me tremble. The prospect terrifies me, but also ignites something deep within, a spark of defiance I thought long extinguished. What if we fail? My voice barely breaks through the tension between us. Failure is not an option, he says firmly. I refuse to remain shackled by these dark elves any longer. His resolve resonates within me. Suddenly, the chains don't seem as heavy as they did before. The air in the room feels electric, charged with something primal and intoxicating. Azrael stands before me, his presence overwhelming, and I feel a stirring deep within, a dark energy bubbling to the surface. It whispers promises of power, of revenge, and suddenly survival doesn't seem like enough anymore. Power, he murmurs, stepping closer, his voice softening like velvet. I can give you power. His words wrap around me, tugging at my core. My heart races as he continues. Power to destroy them. Don't you want that? The answer lingers on my tongue, a yes that's been trapped beneath layers of fear and despair. I want it more than anything. I've spent years buried in the dirt and grime of servitude, each day blending into the next like shadows creeping through the mine shafts. But now a fire ignites within me. Imagine it, he says, his eyes dark with an intensity that draws me closer despite myself. You could have your freedom. You could make them pay for every lash they've laid on your back. I swallow hard, envisioning their faces twisted in fear as I unleash whatever magic lies dormant inside me. The thought sends a shiver down my spine, part exhilaration, part terror. What would I have to do? My voice is barely a whisper, caught somewhere between curiosity and dread. Azrael closes the distance between us, his towering figure casting a shadow over me. He reaches out slowly, brushing a strand of hair behind my ear, with fingers that feel both gentle and electrifying against my skin. Just trust me, he breathes, his voice low and seductive. My breath catches as he leans closer still, his gaze locked onto mine with an intensity that threatens to consume me whole. There's something about him, something dark and alluring that beckons to parts of myself I've kept hidden for too long. What if it changes me? I ask hesitantly, uncertainty creeping in like fog through the night. Change is inevitable, he replies softly. But think of what you'll gain, the strength to fight back. He moves even closer now. I can feel the heat radiating from him, enveloping me in warmth and danger all at once. His fingertips graze my collarbone again before trailing lower along my neck. The contact sends shockwaves through my body. Desire ignites like wildfire as instinct battles reason. What if I don't want this power? My voice trembles under his touch. He pauses for a moment, searching my eyes as if trying to read my soul. Deep down, he whispers, leaning closer so that our breaths mingle in the charged space between us. You know you crave it. His words send a jolt through me. He's right in ways I can't comprehend yet fully acknowledge. The idea of rising above my circumstances pulls at something primal within, a hunger for more than mere survival. But then doubt washes over me like cold water, snapping me back to reality. I can't. The weight of fear settles heavily on my chest again, the familiar chains binding not just Azrael, but also myself in this suffocating life as a slave. I shouldn't be here, I murmur finally, as panic rises inside me. As if sensing my retreating resolve, Azrael takes a step back, but not without keeping his gaze locked onto mine, his expression morphing from desire to frustration. "You're afraid," he says quietly but firmly. I nod slowly. The truth spills out before I can stop it. Fear has always been a companion since being thrust into this life of servitude under dark elves' whims. "Don't let them control you any longer," he urges gently, yet intensely. "You deserve more than this." Desire warred with fear within me as his words echo like thunderclaps against my heart. But those shackles are deeply ingrained. Uncertainty holds tight around my throat. I need time. With that desperate plea escaping my lips, I turn away from him, every step away feeling like tearing apart an invisible thread binding us together, even while fear clings like ivy around my heart. I escape into the dim corridor beyond the door, the weight of possibility lingering behind as dread pulls at my heels like an angry shadow refusing to let go.
Chapter 6. Azrael. I wait in my chambers, the cold stone walls echoing my frustration. The chains rattle with every restless movement, and the shadows twist ominously around me. I've summoned her, but minutes stretch like hours. I can sense the air thickening with tension, an undercurrent that pulls at me. Something has shifted since our last encounter. Finally, the door creaks open. Kara steps inside, and my breath catches. Blood smears her cheek and arm, dark streaks that hint at violence. Her hair falls wild around her face, and her eyes gleam with a frantic light. I can hear her pulse racing like a drum in the silence of the room. "What happened?" My voice drops low, an edge of alarm threading through it as I scan her for injuries. She swallows hard, and for a moment fear flickers across her features. I killed one of them," she whispers, disbelief hanging on each word. I freeze. The weight of her admission slams into me like a physical blow. My eyes narrow as I search for clarity amidst my surprise and rising concern. "How?" I demand, incredulity lacing my tone. Kara shakes her head slightly, as if trying to dispel confusion or perhaps doubt about herself. "I don't know." Her breath comes quick and uneven. "Something just took over. I felt this urge to hurt him, to dominate him." She looks away briefly before meeting my gaze again, defiance glimmering alongside fear. And then I did. The notion is almost laughable, a weak human overpowering one of those vile dark elves. Yet here she stands, drenched in evidence of something primal awakening within her. I step closer, drawn by an instinct deeper than mere curiosity. Something stirs within me as if responding to her transformation. "Show me," I command softly. Her breath hitches as she contemplates my words, hesitation flickering across her features. Show me," I repeat firmly. With a deep breath, Kara seems to find resolve hidden beneath layers of uncertainty. She extends her arm forward slowly, revealing faint traces of dried blood mingled with dirt on her skin, an offering of proof. "I couldn't control it," she murmurs, but there's a glint in her eyes that speaks of exhilaration mixed with dread. "Power is seldom controllable," I reply, allowing a hint of admiration to seep into my voice despite myself. "It demands to be wielded." The tension between us thickens. A potent charge sparks in the air as I watch Kara's reaction shift from fear to determination, no longer just a frightened slave, but something more dangerous beneath the surface. She looks up at me again. Those wide eyes hold depth now, a rawness that wasn't there before. "I felt alive," she admits finally, breathless but fierce. Kara's admission lingers in the air, thick with unspoken truths. I feel a fire igniting within me, fueled by her bloodlust, a potent allure that awakens something primal I thought long buried. She stands before me, transformed, fear and exhilaration dancing across her features. I step closer, my gaze locked on hers. "You're not just a human," I murmur, letting the words hang between us like an incantation. "There's something inside you, something powerful." Her breath quickens as she swallows hard, eyes widening. "I don't know what's happening to me." The tremor in her voice sends shivers throughout my body. Every instinct tells me she's teetering on the edge of something dark and exhilarating. My heart pounds as I lean in, my breath brushing against her ear, warm and intimate. "You're mine," I whisper softly, the words spilling from my lips like a forbidden promise. "Whether you know it or not, you belong to me." Her pulse races beneath my fingertips as I watch realization flicker across her face, a mixture of fear and an undeniable thrill that draws us together like moths to flame. "And that power of yours is mine as well," I add, claiming her with each syllable. Before she can respond, before doubt can creep back into her mind, I close the distance between us. My lips crash against hers, and a rush of heat envelops us both. The taste of rebellion fills the air, sweet and intoxicating, as our mouths move together in a desperate dance. Kara melts against me, her body responding to my kiss with an urgency that stirs my blood even further. Her hands grasp at my shoulders, fingers digging into my skin, as if anchoring herself amidst this tempest of emotion swirling around us. She's intoxicating, raw power coiling beneath the surface, and it drives me wild with desire. My tongue brushes against hers, igniting a spark that surges through both of us. She tastes like freedom wrapped in sweet vengeance, a flavor that promises so much more than mere lust. Each moment we share pushes us deeper into this abyss together. As we kiss hungrily, I can feel the warmth radiating from her body, a soft fire against my own hardened frame, and it pulls at every primal instinct within me. She surrenders completely. There's no hesitation now, only the need to explore this connection burning brightly between us. My hands find their way to her waist. I grip tightly as if tethering myself to this moment where nothing else matters but us. This wicked alliance forged in desire and bloodshed. Kara gasps against my mouth when I pull her closer still. Our bodies meld together perfectly, as if they were always meant to fit this way. "Let go," I breathe between kisses, urging her deeper into the darkness that surrounds us both, the darkness where power resides and lust thrives unchecked. With each brush of our lips and every heated caress, we delve deeper into uncharted territory, an exploration fueled by instinct and insatiable hunger for one another. As she leans into me with reckless abandon, her heart racing, I know this is just the beginning, and I won't stop until I have her just where I want her.
Chapter 7. Kara. I can't explain this fury that courses through my veins, this hunger that claws at my insides. It's as if I'm possessed by some ancient, primal force that demands to be sated, and the demon before me, Azrael, is the only one who can quench this thirst. He's chained and at my mercy, yet it's his dominion over me that I crave. I want to kneel before him, to feel his power wrap around me like an unbreakable chain. But more than that, I want to break him, to bend him to my will, to see this mighty demon surrender to the same madness that's consuming me. I lunge at him, my lips crashing against his in a clash of teeth and tongues. He growls in response, a sound that vibrates through my entire being, setting my nerves alight with a wildfire of desire. I tear at his clothes, my fingers fumbling with the need to touch him, to feel the raw power of his body against mine. Azrael matches my fervour, his hands gripping my hips with bruising force as he lifts me effortlessly and slams me against the cold stone wall. The shock of the impact only fuels the inferno within me. I wrap my legs around his waist, my dress hitching up around my thighs as I grind myself against the thick, hard length of him, straining against his pants. "Dominate me," he challenges, his voice a low, dangerous rumble that sends a shiver down my spine. "Show me what you're capable of, little queen." The title should startle me, but all I feel is a surge of power. I am a queen of darkness and desire, and this demon will bow to me.
As much as Samara and I want to finish what these two characters have started, it looks like this chapter is about to get too hot for this platform to handle.
Unfortunately, we have to pause here because their guidelines won't allow us to reveal the spiciest details.
To keep bringing you these free audiobooks, we have to follow their rules.
But don't worry. You can experience the full, unabridged version over at worldsofprotheka.com, where the boundaries of passion and fantasy collide.
Use code YouTube30 for 30% off any of our unabridged audiobooks set in the rich and immersive worlds of Protheka.
Protheka's magic is eternal.
With these scenes, it will be unforgettable.
Chapter 8. Kara. I crouch beside Azrael, my heart hammering in my chest as we navigate the shadowed corridor. The fortress looms around us, a maze of stone and darkness. My fingers tremble around the hilt of the stolen dagger, a fragile weapon that feels far too light against the weight of my fear. The oppressive silence hangs heavy, broken only by the distant clinking of chains and muffled steps echoing from somewhere deeper within the fortress. Each sound sends adrenaline coursing through me, making my skin prickle. I can't shake the feeling that we're about to be discovered. Azrael motions for me to follow, his eyes glinting like shards of obsidian in the dim light. I nod silently, trying to suppress the rising panic that threatens to overwhelm me. We slip past a guard post, barely breathing as I keep my gaze locked on him. He leads us deeper into the labyrinthine hallways, each step drawing me further from the safety of our shared moments in his chambers and closer to danger. Sweat drips down my back, pooling at my waist. This is reckless, an impulsive move that could cost us everything. What if we get caught? The dark elves are merciless. They wouldn't hesitate to punish us both. "Keep moving," Azrael whispers, urgency lacing his voice. I force myself to focus on his words rather than my spiraling thoughts. He's right. There's no turning back now. A part of me revels in this defiance against our captors, but another part screams at me that this is a mistake. Still, I follow him, heart racing and pulse quickening with every step. I can't let fear dictate my actions anymore, not after everything we've been through together. I will fight for our freedom, or die trying. The exit looms ahead, a sliver of light in the oppressive darkness of the fortress. My heart races, each beat echoing the urgency of our escape. Azrael leads me with confidence, his towering figure a beacon amidst the shadows. The closer we get to freedom, the more I can taste it, a heady mix of adrenaline and hope. But just as we near the door, a guard steps into view, blocking our path. His eyes narrow as they lock onto mine, and I freeze under his gaze. Panic grips my chest. This is it. Our plan crumbles before we can even touch freedom. But then something strange happens. A warmth blooms in my chest, radiating outward like sunlight breaking through clouds. It wraps around me and I can feel it stretching toward the guard, softening his features. His stance slackens, his grip on his weapon loosening. "What?" I murmur, bewildered. I step forward without thinking, an instinct guiding me. "Let us pass," I say, my voice dropping to a sultry whisper that feels foreign yet powerful. The words roll off my tongue with an ease I've never known before. The guard's eyes glaze over as if he's caught in a trance. He blinks slowly, but doesn't move. His body stiffens as if paralyzed by some unseen force. My heart lurches with confusion and fear. What am I doing? Azrael grips my wrist firmly, pulling me past the entranced guard just as panic threatens to drown me. Once outside, I stumble into the open air, gasping for breath as reality crashes back in. The cool night wraps around me like a balm after the stifling heat of the fortress. What did I just do? I ask breathlessly, my hands trembling at my sides. Azrael watches me with dark curiosity, his expression unreadable yet intense. You seduced him, he replies slowly, almost with admiration lacing his tone. My stomach twists at his words. I didn't mean to, I whisper back, shame flooding my cheeks as realization sinks in. The power that surged through me, was that part of this incubus bloodline awakening? His smile deepens, a dangerous spark igniting in his eyes. You didn't need to mean it, you simply did. I shake my head, confusion swirling in my mind like a tempest. This isn't right. But deep down, an intoxicating thrill flickers beneath my fear, a glimpse of strength that had lain dormant within me for so long. Before I can collect myself further or question him more deeply about what happened inside those walls, my thoughts are interrupted by Azrael suddenly collapsing to the ground beside me. Azrael! My voice rises in alarm as he writhes on the cold earth. His muscles convulse violently beneath him, as curses spill from his lips like venom. He grits his teeth against whatever torment grips him and snarls through clenched jaws. We can't go. Not yet, he gasps between laboured breaths. Why? Panic floods through me again as I kneel beside him. His pain radiates outward like a dark cloud, suffocating any hope left within me. The contract binds me, to this mine until it's destroyed, he spits out between fits of convulsions. My heart drops at his words. The chains that bind him are more than physical. They reach deep into magic that constricts his very essence. This wasn't just about escaping anymore. It was about unravelling everything keeping him prisoner, not just physically but magically too. How do we destroy it? The urgency surges through my veins again as adrenaline spikes anew. We have to find a way, together. Azrael's eyes narrow painfully against the ground, but find mine nonetheless. There's fierce determination there mixed with agony, the kind of resolve only born from desperation and rage combined. He grimaces again as another wave hits him harder than before, his body arching involuntarily off the ground before he falls back against the earth once more, panting heavily for breath, like he'd run miles instead of lying still on grass under moonlight skies. Tell me, I plead desperately. Every second feels precious, now that time drips away like sand through fingers, the urgency thickening between us both under shared weight, bearing down upon our fates entwined together by threads spun from darkness itself. He clenches fists into fists tightly against dirt and grass, while forcing himself upright slightly before looking directly into my eyes again, the intensity there seeping through even past pain written across every line carved deep upon his face over centuries spent fighting battles unseen, yet palpable within haunted memories, buried underneath layers carefully hidden beneath strength, forged through fire itself, built upon loss too painful, ever truly forgotten, even after ages gone by. Get me back inside.
Chapter 9. Azrael. I sit on the edge of my cot, shadows pooling around me like an old cloak. Kara paces the small room, her hands trembling. The flickering light from the torches casts a dance of shadows across her face, illuminating the conflict within her. My eyes remain fixed on her, taking in every detail, the way she moves, the tightness in her shoulders, the uncertainty etched into her features. You're different, I murmur, my voice low but sharp enough to cut through the thick tension suffocating us. She freezes at my words, eyes darting to meet mine. For a heartbeat, silence hangs between us, like a fragile thread. She doesn't respond, and that's telling. I rise from my perch, each step deliberate as I close the distance between us. My presence looms over her like a storm cloud, overwhelming and electric. I could feel it when you touched him, I say, circling her slowly like a predator stalking its prey. A flicker of confusion flashes across her face before fear settles in its place. I relish that reaction. It's intoxicating to see how my words affect her. I step closer, fingers brushing against her arm lightly, just enough to spark awareness, but not overwhelm her senses entirely. "I can help you control it," I whisper, letting my breath ghost against her skin. Her breath hitches. I feel the heat radiate from where our bodies almost touch. The way she swallows hard sends a thrill through me. She's caught between terror and intrigue. "We're in this together, Kara." My voice drops lower still, wrapping around her like silk threads drawing taut. "But you need to trust me." Those words hang heavy in the air as I watch comprehension swirl within her hazel eyes, a tempest brewing beneath the surface. "What do you mean?" she finally asks, hesitance threading through every syllable. I smile faintly. I sense I've planted something within her, a seed of reliance that will grow if nurtured correctly. "You felt what happened with that guard," I say smoothly. "It wasn't luck or coincidence." She shifts uncomfortably under my gaze, but doesn't deny it. Instead, she bites her lip as if grappling with thoughts too complex for words. "Embrace it," I urge gently, while maintaining an intensity that keeps our focus locked together like iron chains binding one to another. "That power inside you is part of who you are now." "What if it consumes me?" she whispers, vulnerability seeping into those words along with doubt laced through every inflection. My heart twists at the thought of losing this connection. She can't waver now, not when we stand on the precipice of something great together. "It won't if you let me guide you." The conviction behind my voice echoes in our small chamber as shadows play tricks against cold stone walls, figures lost to time yet etched into memory forevermore, a reminder of battles fought and won over centuries long past, remnants mingling with desire thrumming alive beneath skin touching skin. Kara's gaze drops momentarily before lifting again, a spark igniting hope where fear once resided alone. It's there. Buried beneath layers of trepidation lies potential waiting for release. A fire yearning for fuel fed by trust, forged between predator and prey, drawn inexorably toward one another, despite obstacles stacked high around them both. "Trust me," I repeat softly but firmly, while closing the distance further still, until our breaths mingle in heated whispers escaping lips barely apart now, each moment stretching into eternity marked only by palpable tension, dancing above us, unyieldingly poised at its zenith. Ready to fall should either falter first. Her resolve begins to solidify amidst wavering uncertainty. I can feel it shift like tectonic plates, shifting ever so slightly underneath vast mountains, looming over valleys below, readying themselves for cataclysmic eruptions yet to come. Under the dim light of the chamber, my eyes trace the contours of Kara's face, her flushed cheeks, her parted lips, the pulse point throbbing at her neck. She's a vision of wanton desire and fear, a heady mix that makes my demonic heart beat faster, if only metaphorically. I lean in closer, my voice a low rumble that vibrates through the very air between us. "Let me show you what you're capable of," I murmur, my fingers trailing down her neck with feather-light precision. Her breath quickens, a shiver cascading down her spine as goosebumps erupt beneath my touch. I revel in her body's instinctive response, the way she leans into me, craving more, yet wary of the intensity that simmers just beneath the surface. This scene is about to get too steamy for this platform's comfort. As much as we'd love to keep going, their guidelines say we need to stop here.
To continue releasing these free audiobooks on this platform, we've got to play by the rules.
The passion doesn't end here.
Visit worldsofprotheka.com to hear the full, uncut version of this fantasy romance, and every daring moment that YouTube can't handle.
Use code YouTube30 for 30% off unabridged audiobooks in the Worlds of Protheka.
Don't let YouTube hold you back. Immerse yourself in a world of magic, danger, and unfiltered passion.
Protheka's magic is eternal.
Listen unabridged and you'll never want to go back.
When it is over, I lie beside her, my body replete and satisfied. Kara sleeps deeply, her chest rising and falling in a gentle rhythm. The chains that bind me to this place feel lighter, the contract's grip weakened by the surge of power coursing through my veins. I smirk to myself as I watch her sleep, her naked body bathed in the soft glow of the dying embers in the hearth. She has no idea how crucial she is to my escape. But soon, very soon, she will understand the role she plays in our shared destiny. For now, I revel in her proximity, in the scent of her skin, in the lingering taste of her on my lips. I close my eyes, and for the first time in centuries, I feel something akin to hope. With Kara by my side, freedom is within reach, and I will stop at nothing to claim it.
Chapter 10. Kara. I wake in a cold sweat, the remnants of a vivid dream clinging to me like shadows. Azrael's face swims in my mind, his hands exploring every inch of my body, his voice whispering dark promises in my ear. The memory sends a shiver down my spine, desire mixing with confusion as I shake my head, trying to clear the fog. Something's different. I stand and shuffle toward the small, cracked mirror hanging on the wall. My heart races as I peer into it. The reflection staring back seems foreign yet familiar. My skin glows with an unusual smoothness, fairer than before. I reach up, running my fingers through my hair, thicker and more vibrant than I remember. It cascades down my shoulders like a dark waterfall, catching the light in a way that makes me gasp. "What's happening to me?" I whisper, the question lingering in the air like a spell. Throughout the day, I can't shake the feeling that something inside me has shifted. As I move through the mine, lifting heavy stones feels effortless. My muscles strain against their usual fatigue, but not from exertion, rather from power awakening within me. Each task is easier than it should be. Even breathing feels different, charged with energy. I notice how colours seem brighter today, the deep grey of the rocks more vivid, the flickering torchlight casting dancing shadows that almost feel alive. Sounds sharpen around me. The distant drip of water echoes off the stone walls, and conversations from other slaves filter into focus, as if I'm attuned to them for the first time. As I pass a group of dark elves clustered together, one sneers at me, contempt dripping from his voice. "Look at her, like a pretty little bird trapped in a cage," he mocks. Something stirs inside me, a flicker of defiance igniting into flames. Without thinking, I turn and meet his gaze head-on. For an instant, surprise flashes across his face as he falters. Confusion clouds his features when he realizes he's not looking at a cowering slave. I feel it. A strange and exhilarating satisfaction blooms within me as I watch him retreat slowly, his eyes wide with uncertainty and disbelief. My heart races, pounding in my chest with an intensity I've never experienced before. Power thrums beneath my skin like a heartbeat of its own, pulsating in rhythm with the newfound energy coursing through every fibre of my being. What is this? What am I tapping into? I can hardly wrap my mind around the sensation, and yet it feels so undeniably right. I can barely contain the thrill bubbling within me as I walk away from him. Each step feels remarkably lighter, buoyed by a strength I had long thought lost, confidence surging up from a place buried deep inside, a place long overshadowed by years of servitude and fear. It's as if a weight has been lifted, and I can finally breathe freely for the first time in what feels like forever. As I approach a pile of rocks near one of the shafts, I spot a heavy boulder resting among the rubble. Without a moment's hesitation, I bend my knees and lift it effortlessly above my head, a feat that would have left me breathless and trembling just yesterday. The boulder tumbles aside with little effort on my part, crashing against another stone with a satisfying thud that reverberates through the air like a triumph. Gasping for breath only now because of exhilaration rather than fatigue, I step back and stare in awe at what I've accomplished. Could this be real? Could this power be mine? I step into Azrael's chamber, my heart pounding in my chest. The moment I cross the threshold, the air thickens with tension, a palpable energy swirling around us. My eyes lock onto him, and every instinct within me ignites like wildfire. He sits casually on his cot, his dark figure silhouetted against the dim light, those glowing red eyes boring into me with an intensity that makes my breath hitch. "What did you do to me?" I ask quietly, my voice trembling despite my efforts to sound steady. The heat pooling in my core catches me off guard. It's an all-consuming desire that I can't seem to shake. Azrael's smile unfurls slowly, almost predatory, and something inside me quivers at the sight. "You're just starting to realize your potential," he replies smoothly, leaning forward as if the distance between us is unbearable. "Stay close to me, and you'll become even more powerful." His words seep into my mind like honey, sweet yet dangerous. A thrill runs through me, mixing with the heat swelling in my chest. Could it be true? Could I really become something more than this pathetic slave? I stand straighter, a newfound confidence coursing through me like an electric current. With each step I take toward him, I feel different, stronger. No longer am I the weak, trembling girl who cowered under their lashings. Now I carry an edge of defiance. "Azrael," I say softly as I approach him, lingering just out of reach. "What does that mean? What kind of power?" He leans back slightly, observing me with a smirk that sends shivers racing down my spine. "You've tapped into something deep within you, a darkness waiting to be unleashed." The words resonate within me like a drumbeat of rebellion. Darkness. A part of me craves it. The thrill of it calls to something primal inside. I can feel it, a bond forming between us like a thread pulling taut in the fabric of fate. The more time I spend near him, the stronger that pull becomes until it's all-consuming. Every glance from him sends ripples across my skin. Every moment shared amplifies that connection. "I want this," I whisper before I can think better of it. He raises an eyebrow at my admission, intrigued. "Want what?" "To be powerful," I admit again, this time louder and with more conviction. "To not be afraid anymore." A glimmer sparks in his eyes as he rises from his cot and takes a step closer. My breath catches as his presence envelops me. His warmth radiates off him like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. "You'll have power beyond your wildest dreams," he murmurs, his voice low and rich with promise. My heart races as he closes the gap between us until there's barely any space left, so close that I can feel the heat radiating from his body, washing over mine like waves crashing against rocks. "Trust yourself," he says softly as he brushes a finger along my jawline. My skin ignites under his touch, a jolt of electricity that sends tremors through me. In this moment, everything else fades away. The darkness of the fortress and the oppressive weight of servitude lift like mist in morning light. It's just Azrael and me, two souls intertwined by fate's cruel design. And for once, I'm not afraid to embrace what lies ahead. I nod slowly, but firmly, determination blossoming inside me as our eyes lock once more. In this dark world filled with fear and despair, perhaps together we could forge our own destiny, a future where we wield our powers instead of being controlled by them. "Let's do this," I say firmly, taking a step forward into whatever awaits us next, the uncertainty no longer paralyzing but electrifying instead. Chapter 11. Kara. I push the heavy cart of rock down the dim corridor, my muscles straining under the weight. Sweat beads on my brow as I focus on the task at hand, but something else stirs in me, a strange energy pulsing beneath the surface. It's intoxicating and unsettling all at once. Then I hear it, a soft whimpering followed by a low hiss. "Shut up," a dark elf guard snaps, his voice laced with cruelty. My heart races as I pause, instinctively drawn to the sound. Without thinking, I turn the corner and stop short. There he is, a hulking figure looming over two terrified human women, dragging them by their hair. The sight ignites a fire within me, fury mixing with something darker, something powerful that urges me forward. "Release those women," I command, my voice low and seductive. The guard's eyes narrow at first, surprise flashing across his features. Then confusion settles in, and I can almost see him wrestle with my words. My pulse quickens. This is it, my chance to test whatever new power courses through my veins. As if under a spell, his hands drop to his sides, fingers twitching slightly. His gaze loses focus, eyes glazing over like a marionette cut from its strings. I step closer, feeling that surge of control wrap around us like an invisible thread. Let them go. The guard steps aside mechanically, an empty shell devoid of willpower as the two women stumble past him. They glance back at me, fear and awe mingling in their expressions, before running into the shadows of safety. My heart pounds in my chest. Adrenaline courses through my veins as I realize what just happened. I did that. I controlled him. The realization washes over me like a wave. This power is mine now. The women pause for just a moment before disappearing down the corridor. Their gratitude hits me hard. An overwhelming sense of purpose ignites within me as they escape to freedom because of my intervention. "Get out of here," I urge them softly but firmly before turning back to face the guard still standing there like a statue. A heady rush fills me, the thrill of wielding such raw power, and it stirs something deep within that craves more than mere control. It longs for dominance. I watch him for another moment before turning away to head back toward my workstation, exhilaration thrumming through me with every step. What other depths can I explore? What else can I achieve? The thought shoots through me as anticipation bubbles inside me like boiling water ready to spill over. I rub my hands together, trying to wipe the coal dust off. But it's a lost cause. My clothes are already stained beyond recognition, the fabric clinging to me like a second skin. I can almost laugh at the absurdity of it all. What's one more layer of grime? "Need a shower, don't we?" I murmur to myself, my voice barely a whisper, yet it erupts into laughter that bounces off the stone walls. The sound catches the attention of a few other slaves nearby. They glance over, brows raised in curiosity and concern. "Keep it down, Kara," one warns, though there's an edge of humour in his tone. I shrug and press on. The idea of those elven bastards ever letting us bathe is downright comical. I shake my head and push thoughts of cleanliness aside. Instead, I decide to check on Azrael. His presence lingers in my mind like smoke from a fire I can't escape. Serving him has become an obsession, though that isn't the only reason for my visit. As I weave through the labyrinthine corridors of the fortress, I hear it, the sharp crack of a whip followed by a blood-curdling scream that sends chills racing down my spine. My heart skips as I rush toward the sound, instinct pushing me forward. Is someone being hurt? Another slave? But when I reach the source, dread fills me. It's not another slave who suffers. It's the guard from earlier today, the one who fell under my spell with just a whisper. I step into the shadows and watch as dark elves surround him, their faces twisted with sadistic pleasure. Each lash brings forth another scream, echoing off stone walls like a symphony of pain. My stomach twists at the sight, but beneath that churn lies something darker. A sick thrill courses through me as his eyes widen in terror and despair. This is what he deserves for threatening me earlier. No mercy shown. Yet still, guilt creeps in alongside that exhilaration. How could I feel this way? This isn't justice. It's vengeance cloaked in brutality. I turn away abruptly, my heart racing, not from fear, but from something intoxicatingly powerful within me that craves more chaos and control. The thrill ignites every nerve ending. It's exhilarating, like an addictive drug coursing through my veins. The darkness inside whispers promises I'm desperate to explore as I hurry toward Azrael's chamber, knowing full well that whatever this power is, it's mine to wield now. I slip into Azrael's chambers, the heavy door thudding shut behind me. My heart races, adrenaline still coursing through my veins from what I just did. I can't help but gush. You won't believe what I've done this time. He looks up, eyes glimmering with curiosity. Tell me. I rush over to him, my breath quickening as I settle onto his lap. His fingers glide along my thighs, tracing the skin with a feather-light touch that sends shivers up my spine. I saved them, I blurt out, the words tumbling from my lips. The women they were dragging in. Those dark elves were going to hurt them. I pause for a moment, reliving the thrill of the encounter. I made that guard drop his weapon. He just stood there like he was under a spell. Azrael's brow arches as he listens intently, an amused smirk creeping across his face. And then, my cheeks flush with a mix of excitement and guilt. I watch them punish him for it. A wicked grin spreads on my lips as I remember the satisfaction that swelled within me at witnessing his punishment. It felt good to see him suffer. He chuckles softly, admiration gleaming in his eyes. You're growing stronger by the day. The praise wraps around me, igniting something deep inside, a pride that mixes dangerously with desire. I lean closer without thinking and capture his lips with mine in a fierce kiss, needing to feel that connection between us. His mouth responds instantly. He groans against me as I bite down on his lip, drawing blood. The metallic taste ignites a fire within me, and Azrael pulls me closer, wrapping his arms around my waist. I don't know why I keep doing this, I whisper breathlessly against his skin, our foreheads touching as we catch our breaths. I can't stay away from you. His grin widens dark and knowing. Nor can I. A surge of warmth spreads through me at his admission. Something powerful thrums beneath the surface between us, an undeniable bond that pulls me deeper into this chaotic dance we share. The world outside fades away. All that matters is him and this intoxicating moment. What are we becoming? I murmur. Something powerful, he replies softly, tracing patterns on my thigh again. The thought sends chills down my spine as desire laces through every fibre of my being once more. Earth is pretty much a desolate wasteland since the orcs came over from Protheka, and being a woman, the best you can hope is to be someone's property. Now, after my curvy body catches Korthar's eye, he'll claim me, and I'll serve him, in any way he pleases.
You're mine now. Listen to this story and more when you get the complete Orc Warriors of Protheka audiobook and ebook bundle.
40 books, 19 audiobooks, 19 ebooks. You even get 1 free novella and 1 free audiobook.
All for a shocking 90% off.
Protheka's magic is eternal, and the complete Orc Warriors of Protheka bundle will bring over 100 hours of that magic to you.
Chapter 12. Azrael. The air crackles with an unspoken tension, thickening with every passing day. Each glance exchanged between Kara and me feels charged, the weight of desire simmering just beneath the surface. I can see it in her eyes, the way they light up when she talks about her newfound power, how each triumph over the dark elves makes her stronger. And yet, I remain acutely aware of my own desires, a storm brewing within me that demands release. Kara arrives with food again, her tray laden with what appears to be a more generous portion than usual. I know the dark elves feed their slaves, slop gruel fit only for vermin, but Kara's offerings come from my own meals. You need to eat, I insist, gesturing for her to take a seat beside me. She hesitates for a moment, uncertainty flickering across her face. It's not right for me to take your food, she murmurs, glancing at the meager remnants of what I have left untouched. "Your strength is crucial to our plans," I counter, my voice low and commanding. "If you starve yourself, you'll only weaken our chances." She bites her lip, considering my words before finally relenting. As she picks up a piece of bread and takes a bite, I watch with satisfaction as color returns to her cheeks and muscle fills out her frame. The once gaunt girl who carried a sense of defeat now sits taller, stronger. "You wouldn't believe what happened today," she says between bites, excitement lighting up her features. "I compelled 3 guards to turn on each other while they were gambling." A smile breaks across my lips. There's something intoxicating about watching her revel in this new identity. "And how did that feel?" "Powerful," she admits, and I can't help the pride swelling in my chest. But there's no time to bask in those moments now. We have work to do. We slip into the shadows once again tonight, cloaked by darkness as we move stealthily through the twisting corridors of the fortress. I walk closely behind Kara, my eyes roaming over her form, a silhouette defined by curves that were once hidden beneath layers of ragged clothing. She carries herself differently now, confidently, as if she knows she holds power beyond what any mere human should possess. Our mission tonight is simple. Gather information about the contract binding me here. We glide past empty rooms and echoing halls until we reach the chambers of one of the dark elf nobles, the source of my torment and humiliation. Kara pushes open the door quietly. It creaks softly as we step inside. The room is lavishly adorned with ornate furniture and glittering artifacts that hint at wealth amassed through cruelty and oppression. "Search everywhere," I instruct as we split up, but even as I scan the room for any scrap of parchment or detail that might reveal how to break free from these chains, binding me both physically and magically, every flicker of movement from Kara distracts me. She moves gracefully among rich tapestries and decadent displays, eyes scanning surfaces while keeping an ear open for any sign of danger lurking beyond this chamber's threshold. My focus sharpens as I turn toward a grand desk littered with scrolls when suddenly footsteps echo outside the door, a pair of guards making their rounds too close for comfort. "Hide," I hiss under my breath. We duck behind a large tapestry hanging on the wall, just moments before 2 guards enter the chamber. Their laughter fills the space like poison as they stroll around casually, without noticing our presence concealed behind the fabric. "Did you hear? They caught another slave trying to escape last night," one guard remarks casually as he inspects items on a nearby shelf. "It won't be long before they start hunting down all those humans," his companion replies dismissively. "They're nothing but animals anyway, and that demon, our own little pet. Maybe they'll finally put him to use." My fists clench at their words. I want nothing more than to leap out and silence them permanently. But Kara rests a calming hand on my arm and gestures with her head when I look at her. The guard's laughter fades as we retreat into the shadows, my frustration boiling over. We could have gotten what we needed, should have gotten what we needed. I snarl, the sound rumbling in my throat like a warning growl. But when I turn to Kara, her eyes glow with an unsettling intensity. A darkness swirling within that both fascinates and terrifies me. There's something dangerously alluring about her transformation. Back in our chamber, the door clicks shut behind us, sealing off the outside world. Kara steps closer, her movements fluid and hypnotic. Her hips sway as she approaches, drawing me in like a moth to flame. "You're too tense," she purrs, her fingers trailing down my chest with a feather-light touch. I feel every nerve ending spark to life under her caress, heat pooling low in my gut. I swallow hard. My breath hitches as I realize what's happening. She's wielding her powers like a master. Her incubus blood surging through her veins grips me tight. "Let me help you relax," she whispers against my ear, her breath hot and inviting. And just like that, I'm lost sinking into the depths of desire, where reason blurs and all that matters is the primal pull between us. Kara's voice is a siren's call, her words laced with a sultry confidence that I can't resist. "Sit," she commands, and my body obeys before my mind has time to process the order. The bed creaks under my weight as I sink onto the mattress, the chains binding me clinking softly in the otherwise silent room. She drops to her knees before me, her hands deftly unfastening my trousers. I know what's coming, and a part of me, the primal, unchained part, wants to pull away, to remind her that I am a high demon, not some lowly creature to be commanded. But the truth is, I crave this release, this brief moment of escape from the constant oppression of my enslavement. Sorry for the interruption. I know you were gearing up for a steamy scene, but it's way too hot for this platform.
If we want to keep sharing our stories for free, we have to abide by this platform's guidelines.
To get the full, unabridged audiobook, go to worldsofprotheka.com.
Browse through unabridged audiobooks, countless ebooks, and bundles offered at a discount.
If the thought of me whispering all the dirty details into your ear isn't enticing enough, use discount code YouTube30 to get 30% off of all digital products.
Story after story, audiobook after audiobook, the Worlds of Protheka are waiting for you.
Protheka's magic is eternal.
But unabridged, it's unforgettable. Chapter 13. Kara. I wake to sunlight spilling through the cracks in the stone walls, casting patterns across the floor. My body hums with energy, a vibrant pulse coursing through me, igniting every nerve ending. I swing my legs over the edge of the cot and rise, glancing at myself in the cracked mirror hanging on the wall. My reflection startles me. My skin glows with an ethereal radiance, almost like it's been kissed by shadows and light alike. Muscles ripple beneath my skin, taut and strong from a lifetime of labour, now augmented by something deeper. I don't just see a slave, I see a warrior, a force waiting to be unleashed. I turn to Azrael, still asleep beside me, his powerful form sprawled out under the blankets. The sight of him stirs something fierce within me, desire mixed with a burning ambition that has only grown since last night. He stirs slightly, eyes fluttering open as he senses my gaze on him. The moment our eyes meet, a spark ignites between us. "Morning," he rumbles, his voice deep and gravelly from sleep. "Morning." My voice is steady and firm as I continue. I want more than just escape. Azrael sits up slowly, his expression shifting from drowsy curiosity to full attention. "I want to destroy them," I declare. "All of them." The words feel like thunder in my chest, powerful and unwavering. His brow arches slightly. "You're not afraid?" Fear has no place in me anymore. I can feel it, an unshakable conviction solidifying within my core. They've kept us in chains long enough. It's time for retribution. Azrael rises fully now, intrigue lighting his features. "You understand what you're asking for? This isn't just about freedom, this is war." "Yes," I say, a smile creeping onto my lips at the thought of it all, the bloodshed and chaos that will come when we unleash ourselves upon them. And I want to lead it. He studies me for a moment, as if assessing whether this newfound strength is genuine or merely a fleeting rush of adrenaline. Then he nods slowly. "I'll support you," he replies finally, his voice low but filled with promise. "But we need to strategize carefully." "Then let's do it." Excitement bubbles within me as we begin plotting our revenge against those who have wronged us, who have reduced us to mere tools for their gain. The world feels different now, a battleground ripe for conquest, and I'm ready to claim my power and my destiny alongside Azrael. I stand in the shadows of the mine, the air thick with the scent of damp earth and fear. Flickering torches cast a dim light, illuminating a small group of humans huddled together, their eyes darting around like scared rodents. They shift uneasily, listening for any sign of dark elves lurking in the corners. I clear my throat, steadying myself. My voice cuts through the tension, calm yet commanding. "We can fight back." I let the words hang in the air, my eyes gleaming with intensity. We don't have to live like this anymore. Their gazes snap to me, a mix of fright and awe etched on their faces. I sense the power swelling within me, intoxicating and potent. This is my moment to awaken them, to ignite that flicker of rebellion buried deep inside each one. You've seen what we're capable of, I continue, letting my words flow smoothly, wrapping around them like silk. You've witnessed our suffering at the hands of those who see us as nothing more than animals. My voice dips lower as I let my gaze linger on each one. I smile slightly, a wicked glint sparking in my eyes. The magic surges beneath my skin, ready to pull them in closer. One man steps forward cautiously, his body trembling but determination etched on his face. He drops to one knee before me, bowing his head slightly as he speaks with reverence. I'm willing to lay down my life for you, for this cause. His voice shakes, but there's a fire behind it. Desire mingled with devotion. I smirk at his submission, relishing the way they respond to me, how easily they fall under my influence. Stand up, I say softly but firmly. You'll need your strength. He rises slowly but doesn't take his eyes off me, drinking in every word like nectar from a forbidden flower. Around him, whispers ripple through the group. A swell of hesitant agreement begins to build as they process what I've just proposed. One by one, they exchange glances filled with uncertainty and burgeoning hope. You're not alone anymore, I assure them, projecting confidence into every syllable as I step closer into their midst. Together we can reclaim our lives from these monsters. A murmur runs through them, a collective realization igniting within each heart like a spark catching flame. Do you want revenge? I ask, lowering my voice to create an intimate atmosphere despite our surroundings. They nod eagerly now. Hope begins replacing fear. With that flicker ignited inside them, I extend my hand outward dramatically. Then kneel before your new leader. To my delight and satisfaction, one by one they drop down to their knees before me, each bowing in acceptance not only of my authority, but also of the new path we will forge together. The atmosphere shifts. It feels electric and charged with potential, as if the very air hums with our shared resolve. As they kneel before me, these battered souls finally seeing glimmers of power where once there was none, I can't help but revel in this moment. They look at me not just with awe, but with something deeper, admiration and desire entwined within their submissive stances. I lock eyes with each one as they kneel, my heart pounding not just for myself but for all of us, and whisper fiercely, "Tell the others. Let no elf hear you. When the time is right, I will tell you. Go now." They disperse, a whirlwind of hushed excitement and newfound purpose, their eyes gleaming with a mix of fear and hope. I watch them go, feeling a surge of power ripple through me, a potent energy awakening deep within. It feels intoxicating, like I'm pulling the strings of their desires, bending them to my will. When I finally return to Azrael, my heart races with exhilaration. "They're ready," I announce, my voice low and sultry. "We're going to start a rebellion." The words roll off my tongue like honey, thick with promise. His gaze sharpens as he studies me, the tension in the air crackling between us like electricity. I take a step closer, allowing my fingers to trail along his arm lightly. The contact ignites something primal inside me, an undeniable attraction that's been simmering beneath the surface since the moment we met. "Ready for what?" he asks, his tone curious yet cautious. There's something magnetic about his presence that pulls me in deeper. I lean in slightly, letting my breath ghost over his skin. "To rise up against our captors," I whisper, reveling in the way his muscles tense under my touch. "To make them pay for every moment they've kept us chained." Azrael's eyes darken with intrigue as he watches me closely, but there's an edge of wariness lurking beneath his gaze. "You think they'll fight for you?" His skepticism is barely masked. I smirk, tilting my head as I draw nearer still, savouring the way he reacts to my proximity. His breath hitches ever so slightly. "Oh yes," I reply confidently. "They're willing to die for me." The admission sends a thrill coursing through me, power and seduction entwined within every syllable. His eyes narrow slightly, as if assessing my resolve. "And what do you gain from this?" "Power," I breathe softly, trailing a finger along his jawline before leaning in closer. "But more than that." My lips hover tantalizingly near his ear as I whisper the next words. "I want you to see what we can become together." Every word drips with seduction as I pull back just enough to meet his gaze again, my heart pounding at the intensity burning between us. There's an urgency thrumming beneath our skin, electric and alive. "Let them follow me," I say softly but firmly, pressing myself against him slightly, feeling the heat radiate from his body into mine. "And together we'll show those dark elves just how powerful we can be."
Chapter 14. Azrael. I lean back in the shadows, observing Kara as she paces with newfound confidence. The way she carries herself is different now, assertive, almost regal. She's transformed from the fragile girl I first encountered into a woman who believes she can command armies. Her movements are deliberate, every gesture infused with purpose. I can't help feeling a mix of admiration and apprehension. Her voice cuts through my thoughts as she outlines her plans for the humans. "They're ready," she insists, her eyes gleaming with determination. "We can take control. We can destroy the Dark Elves." I nod slowly, feigning agreement while my mind races. It's undeniable that Kara has an influence over these humans, a power they see in her that they lack themselves. She's starting to see herself as a ruler, not a slave, and therein lies my conflict. Her rising strength could be the key to my freedom, but it also poses a threat. If she fully realizes her potential, she might no longer need me. "Have you considered the risks?" I interject, trying to steer the conversation toward caution rather than blind ambition. Kara pauses mid-stride, casting me an incredulous look. "Risks? Azrael, this is our chance. For too long we've been oppressed." "I understand that," I cut in sharply, leaning forward with elbows resting on my knees. "But you're playing with fire here." My gaze remains locked on her as I study her reaction. She needs to comprehend the magnitude of what we're discussing. "Fire? Or power?" she retorts, crossing her arms defiantly. My pulse quickens at her words. There's a flicker of something fierce in her eyes that sends an involuntary thrill through me. "Power can consume you," I warn softly, trying to temper the heat between us before it spirals out of control. She shakes her head as if dismissing my concern outright. "I won't let it consume me. Not anymore." The determination in her voice resonates deeply within me. It ignites memories of my own rise from servitude in the abyss, a time when I learned to wield power deftly but never without consequence. Kara continues pacing while I remain rooted in place, tapping my fingers against the armrest rhythmically, a physical manifestation of my internal turmoil. She's a storm gathering strength. How do I harness that without getting swept away? "We can use their fear against them," Kara declares passionately now, gesturing animatedly as if conjuring visions of rebellion with every sweeping motion of her hands. "They underestimate us. Underestimate me." I catch myself watching how she lights up at every word spoken, a leader rallying troops before battle, but beneath it all lies a subtle danger I cannot ignore. If this continues unchecked, she may grow powerful enough to challenge even me. "Kara," I say slowly now, leaning forward slightly so our gazes lock firmly once more. "Your ambitions will bring challenges beyond our current scope." "Then we face them together," she replies fiercely without hesitation. A flicker of pride swells within me despite myself. How quickly she has evolved from mere survival instincts into bold ambition. I should want nothing more than to support her. yet feel this gnawing fear lodged deep inside my gut. And yet, as powerful as that sounds, the shadow looming over our fate still hangs heavy above us both, reminding me daily just how precarious our dance around freedom truly is. She's transformed, no longer the timid slave I first encountered. The power that thrums beneath her skin feels intoxicating, yet it also sends a warning bell ringing in my mind. If the Dark Elves discover what she is, they won't hesitate to kill her or exploit her abilities for their own gain. And if Kara slips out of my control, so does my chance at freedom. I cross the room, moving toward her with purpose. "We'll need to move quickly," I say, keeping my voice calm but firm. Her eyes lift to meet mine, reflecting determination and something else, something dangerously alluring. She nods, ready to embrace whatever comes next. I place a hand on her shoulder, feeling the warmth radiate from her skin beneath my touch. "You're the key to all of this, Kara. We can't risk losing you." My words are carefully chosen. I want her to feel indispensable. The fire in her gaze deepens as she stands taller under my grip. It's satisfying to see how far she's come, the way she now exudes strength that was once buried beneath layers of fear and oppression. I remind myself that this power can be a double-edged sword. But just as our moment solidifies into resolve, the door bursts open with a resounding crash. A group of dark elves strides into our chamber, their expressions cold and unreadable, each one wearing the same haughty disdain reserved for lesser beings like us. "You're to come with us," one commands, his tone clipped and authoritative. My body tenses instinctively as dread unfurls within me like poison ivy creeping up a tree. I glance at Kara. We share an urgent look, a silent acknowledgement of danger looming just beyond these walls. "What do they want?" she whispers under her breath. "Show me around," I reply tightly through clenched teeth. "They plan to sell me off." Her expression shifts from confusion to horror in an instant. I see her resolve falter just slightly before she steels herself again. "Azrael," she murmurs urgently. "We can't let that happen." "No," I agree sharply, narrowing my eyes at the approaching dark elves. "We can't." As they beckon for me to follow them into the dimly lit corridor beyond our chamber door, I feel that heavy weight of the contract bearing down on me more than ever. My freedom hinges on Kara, on this alliance we forged. But if they take me away now... I start walking forward while keeping my posture tall and confident. If there's one thing these dark elves respect, it's strength. "Stay," I growl when Kara starts to follow.
Chapter 15. Kara. I pace the small chamber, my heart racing as I wait for Azrael's return. Every tick of the clock sends a ripple of anxiety through me. The thought of him paraded around like a trophy makes my blood boil. How dare they treat him like that? No one touches what's mine. I glance at the table beside me, and in a fit of anger, I slam my palm down against its surface. The wood splinters under my touch, cracking loudly and sending shards flying across the room. The sound startles me, and I stand frozen for a moment, staring at the broken remnants. There's a strange power coursing through my veins, a force that feels both exhilarating and terrifying. I've never had strength like this before. What is happening to me? Before I can contemplate it further, the door swings open, and Azrael strides in with an air of irritation clinging to him like a shroud. His eyes scan the room before landing on the wreckage beside me. Disgust etches itself into his features. "What did you do?" he asks sharply. "They're treating you like some prize," I snap back, feeling that simmering rage flare anew within me. "Like they can just sell you off." His expression softens for a brief moment before he straightens again, an unreadable mask slipping back over his face. "They want to sell me to the highest bidder," he says bluntly. "Someone who can buy my contract and make them rich." My stomach drops at his words, anger mixing with fear for what could happen to him if they succeed. He hesitates, shifting on his feet as if weighing something heavy on his shoulders. Then he steps closer, urgency sparking in his gaze. Kara, there's something important you need to know. My heart races again, but this time it's not just anger, it's anticipation mixed with dread. I should have told you earlier, he continues, taking a deep breath as though gathering courage to plunge into deep waters. But after all of this, it made me realize how much you need to understand about yourself. Understand what? My voice trembles slightly as confusion tugs at my thoughts. He leans forward slightly, lowering his voice as if afraid someone might overhear us, even here behind closed doors. You're not just a human. What do you mean? The weight of his words sinks in slowly. You're a descendant of an incubus, a demon seducer, he reveals flatly. I blink at him, processing those words as if they're foreign objects lodged deep inside my mind. An incubus? The words catch in my throat while disbelief dances along the edges of my thoughts. But beneath that disbelief lies something else, an undeniable thrill that makes my skin tingle. That's why I'm getting stronger, I murmur softly as realization blooms within me like dark flowers unfurling under moonlight. Azrael nods slowly. His gaze remains intense yet unwavering. There's no hint of jest or mockery in his eyes, only raw honesty laced with urgency. Yes, he confirms firmly but gently now. This time his tone carries more warmth than before, a flicker of hope sparking within our shared darkness. You have powers connected to your lineage, the same powers that may allow us both to break free from this abyss. A rush of excitement floods through me, a pulse quickening beneath my skin. And it feels right somehow, like finding pieces of myself long hidden beneath layers of doubt and fear. What does that mean for us? I ask breathlessly. Questions tumble forth like leaves caught in a storm, each one more desperate than the last, because suddenly everything feels possible. And nothing can hold us back any longer. It means you'll need to embrace who you are fully. He straightens again with purpose, flooding every line of his form, no longer merely reacting, but acting upon newfound resolve radiating from every pore, driving him forward just as it drives me. I step back, my heart pounding with an exhilarating rush. The power thrums beneath my skin, sparking with every heartbeat. I meet Azrael's gaze, his intense eyes glimmering with something dark and primal, but there's a flicker of submission there too. Kneel, I order, my voice steady and commanding. He hesitates for a moment, the muscles in his jaw tightening. Then he drops to his knees before me, the movement smooth and powerful. A part of me can't believe this is happening. This towering demon, once a symbol of fear, is now at my feet. Satisfaction washes over me like a wave crashing against the shore. My fingers trail along his jawline, feeling the roughness of his stubble under my fingertips as I tilt his head up to meet my gaze. He's quite handsome, devastatingly sexy in his dark elegance. The way his red eyes burn into mine sends shivers straight down between my legs. Look at you, I murmur, a smile tugging at the corners of my lips. A powerful demon brought low by a simple human. His breath hitches as I trace the line of his jaw with my fingertips, teasing him gently. There's something intoxicating about this newfound control, a thrill that sends heat pooling in my core. You won't come until I say so, I whisper, each word laced with authority and promise. Azrael's body tenses at my command. I can see it in the way he clenches his fists on his thighs. But he holds himself still, submitting to me even as defiance simmers beneath the surface. Do you understand? My voice drops lower, and I lean closer, feeling our breaths mingle in the space between us. He nods slowly, but there's a dangerous glint in his eyes, a challenge lurking just beneath the surface of that fierce facade. I pull back slightly and study him. He remains on one knee before me, a beast under my control, yet brimming with raw power. This is new territory for both of us, an uncharted landscape where desire mingles with dominance. I can feel that connection pulling taut between us, a magnetic force drawing me closer even as I wield authority over him. The realization hits me like lightning. This is only the beginning. I could get used to this, I say softly, grinning as confidence surges within me again. You're mine now. Chapter 16. Kara. Azrael remains kneeling before me, completely at the mercy of my commanding voice. I look down at him, a swell of satisfaction bubbling within me, igniting a fierce sense of power that sends a tremor of exhilaration through my veins. The thrill of dominating a being as formidable as him is intoxicating, overwhelming in the best possible way. If I can wield this kind of influence over a demon, then surely I can do so to anyone who crosses my path. Do you like this? I ask, my voice dripping with sultriness, each word laced with the promise of both danger and delight. Being at my mercy. His eyes glimmer, reflecting a turbulent mix of defiance and something much deeper, something raw and primal that awakens the hunger within me. It's a tantalizing spark that both intrigues and excites me, compelling me to push the boundaries further. I trail my fingers lightly along his shoulders, savouring the feel of the taut muscles that ripple beneath my touch, each hard contour a testament to his formidable strength. When my fingertips dance over one of his wings, it twitches involuntarily, a reaction that sends a delicious shiver coursing through him. The sight of him, so powerful, yet so responsive to my touch, fuels my confidence. The way his body reacts to me ignites a fire within, and I can't help but want to explore this newfound dynamic between us, pushing him to feel the depths of my control. Leaning closer, I whisper in his ear, letting my breath ghost over his skin. Would you like to screw me, Azrael? He turns his head slightly, locking his gaze onto mine, a fierce intensity that sends heat coursing through me. With a slow nod, he says yes. The air crackles between us, a current of dark energy humming beneath my skin. Azrael's chains clink as I circle him, my nails scraping down the grooves of his abdominal scars. Take off your clothes, I command, relishing how his jaw twitches. Slowly.
As much as Samara and I want to finish what these two characters have started, it looks like this chapter is about to get too hot for this platform to handle.
Unfortunately, we have to pause here because their guidelines won't allow us to reveal the spiciest details.
To keep bringing you these free audiobooks, we have to follow their rules.
But don't worry. You can experience the full, unabridged version over at worldsofprotheka.com, where the boundaries of passion and fantasy collide.
Use code YouTube30 for 30% off any of our unabridged audiobooks set in the rich and immersive worlds of Protheka.
Protheka's magic is eternal.
With these scenes, it will be unforgettable. Chapter 17. Azrael. I wake alone, the chill of the chamber seeping into my bones. The last thing I remember is Kara's warmth against me, her perfect body resting on my chest. But now nothing. The bed feels cold without her. I slip on my trousers, scanning the room for any sign of her. The air feels heavy, charged with an unease that prickles at the back of my neck. Kara! My voice echoes softly against the stone walls, swallowed by silence. A noise from the hall breaks through, garbled and desperate, followed by a dull thud that makes my heart race. I bolt upright, adrenaline flooding my veins. I stride toward the door, pushing it open with barely contained urgency. What I see sends shockwaves through me. Kara stands over a dark elf's body sprawled on the floor, her chest heaving with exertion. Blood drips from her fingers, pooling beneath her like a crimson halo. Her eyes are wild, fierce and untamed, and she wears a twisted smile that chills me to the core. "What have you done?" I hiss, rushing forward to grasp her wrist before she can wipe it clean on her tunic. Kara jerks her arm free and tilts her head slightly, as if considering me for the first time since this madness began. "He was in the way," she says simply, her tone disturbingly casual. My heart pounds in my chest as anger and fear churn together. "You've just made them suspicious." I pull her into the shadows just as footsteps echo down the corridor. She leans closer to me, a mixture of thrill and defiance dancing in her gaze. "Let them come," she whispers fiercely. "I'm done being afraid." The footsteps grow louder. 2 dark elves approach, their voices laced with authority and malice. My mind races as I weigh our options. We need to get out of here before they discover what she's done. "Stay quiet," I command softly, feeling the chains that bind me tug at my resolve, but knowing Kara's actions threaten everything we've built together. Our plans for freedom and revenge now dangle precariously above a pit of danger. Her breath quickens as she grips my arm tightly. "I don't care if they find out," she mutters defiantly. A surge of frustration courses through me. "You will care when they come after you," I reply sharply. As they draw closer, Kara presses against me, breathless yet exhilarated by this newfound power coursing through her veins. The sweet scent of blood hangs thick around us, a stark reminder of how far she's willing to go now that she knows what she is capable of. I can't let this continue. I need to rein her in before it spirals beyond control. "Follow my lead," I murmur just above a whisper before slipping out into view as casually as possible while maintaining our cover in shadow. The 2 dark elves stroll past us without noticing our presence yet, but every moment is fraught with tension. Their laughter echoes around us like knives slicing through darkness. Once they're out of earshot, I turn to Kara. "We're not murderers," I remind her sternly, but quietly enough not to attract attention again. She smirks at me, then fiery defiance shining in those wild eyes as if she's testing whether my words hold any weight against this new hunger for power brewing within her. "Not yet. This isn't just reckless ambition anymore. It feels like an awakening, and one that could spell doom for both of us if we aren't careful about where we tread next. It doesn't take long for them to come knocking." The dark elves drag us into a dimly lit chamber, their expressions cold and calculating. Shadows dance across the walls, flickering like the dying embers of a fire. My heart races, tension coiling in my gut as I scan the room for potential escape routes. A dark elf with silver hair steps forward, his eyes narrowing at Kara. I can see it, the flicker of recognition mixed with suspicion. He takes in her glowing skin and the unsettling confidence radiating from her like an aura. The dead dark elf lies forgotten in the hallway, but his presence lingers, thickening the air between us. "What happened here?" he demands, voice dripping with authority. Kara opens her mouth, but I can't let her speak. I step in front of her, my face impassive as I meet the leader's gaze head-on. "I killed him," I declare firmly, channeling all my resolve into my words. "The dark elf attacked her first. I was there." His eyes narrow further, skepticism playing across his features as he studies me. A brief silence stretches out like a taut string ready to snap. "Do you think you can fool me?" he sneers. I hold my ground despite the creeping pain that begins to radiate from my chest, a cruel reminder of the contract binding me to this fate. "Do you really think a slave could do that to one of your kind?" My voice cuts through the air. "Even without my power, my strength is unmatched." The leader's gaze flickers over to Kara again before settling back on me, doubt warring with his arrogance. Behind him, other dark elves exchange glances filled with uncertainty. They've never seen a human so empowered or audacious. He raises his hand slowly, invoking the contract's magic, and pain lances through me like white-hot fire. I drop to one knee, gritting my teeth against the urge to scream. It feels as though chains are tightening around my chest. It's both familiar and infuriating. Kara gasps beside me but doesn't reach for me, perhaps sensing that any show of weakness might lead them to pounce on our vulnerability. "I swear!" I grunt through clenched teeth, pushing against the searing agony coursing through my body. I killed that dark elf. Each word becomes an effort, but they're laced with truth. There's no way she could have done this alone, not yet. Do you think I would lie? You've seen what I'm capable of. My breath hitches as another wave of pain hits me like a punch to the gut, but I force myself to keep speaking. You don't need proof. Look at her. She's a human. The dark elf leader's expression shifts. Surprise dances in his eyes before he forces it down into contempt once more. Yet there's hesitation now among his followers. They know better than to disregard strength when it's standing right before them. He lowers his hand slowly but doesn't dismiss us entirely just yet. The tension remains taut as bowstring while he weighs our fates against one another, a mix of concern and intrigue playing out across their faces. Release them, he finally commands, albeit reluctantly. I feel weight lift slightly from my chest as they let us go, but no, we're still caught in this web. Every glance exchanged tells me that our window is closing fast. They watch us closely now. Kara's reckless actions have drawn far too much attention for comfort. As we exit into another corridor, the air heavier now, I turn to Kara, who stands rigid beside me. You need to be more careful, I hiss under my breath while keeping an eye on our surroundings. Her expression flickers between defiance and confusion, an intoxicating mix that only heightens my frustration. They wouldn't have believed you if they thought it was all on me, she argues quietly but fiercely. Perhaps not, I say sharply, leaning closer so only she can hear me over our footsteps echoing against stone walls. But they're looking at you now, at what you're becoming, and if we don't move quickly. Kara nods slightly, determination hardening her features, but there's still an ember of recklessness burning behind those fierce eyes. She looks alive in a way that frightens and fascinates me all at once, a double-edged sword ready to cut deep if wielded carelessly. We need a plan.
Chapter 18. Kara. I lean against the cold stone wall of the barracks, a smirk creeping across my lips as the captain strides toward me. His muscles ripple beneath his dark skin, a testament to his strength and discipline, but I can feel it, the crack in his resolve. My fingers trail down his arm, teasingly light. I need a favour, I whisper, my breath hot against his ear. The warmth of my voice wraps around him like a tendril of smoke. His eyes glaze over, caught in the pull of my power. Bring me a couple of your soldiers. I want to talk to them. He nods, dazed, as if entranced by my presence. A flicker of triumph dances in my chest. This is what I crave, the control that once eluded me. Minutes later, 2 dark elves are dragged before me, their bodies taut with fear. I can smell their adrenaline mingling with the sweat on their skin. It's intoxicating. Get up, I command, my voice low and sultry. They stumble to their feet but can't meet my gaze, eyes darting around as if seeking an escape that doesn't exist. The captain stands at attention behind me, expressionless as he cracks the whip against their backs. The sound echoes through the barracks, a sharp crack, followed by anguished screams that reverberate off the walls. Blood splatters across the stone floor like crimson paint, and I watch with gleeful satisfaction as it glistens in the dim light. Again, I order, relishing the power thrumming through me. My voice drips with pleasure, and it feels good, so damn good, to see them writhing under his blows. Another lash cuts through the air, and this time one of them falls to his knees. The other stands firm for now, but can't hide the tremors coursing through him. I laugh, a sharp sound that pierces through their pain, and step closer to them. You think you're safe? My voice dances with malice as I kneel before the soldier still standing. You're nothing but pawns in a game you don't even understand. Their eyes widen with terror when they finally meet my gaze, recognition dawning on them just how deep they've sunk into despair. The captain hesitates behind me. His face remains impassive, but I sense an uncertainty lurking just beneath his disciplined exterior. "Do you want more?" I taunt, tilting my head slightly while locking eyes with him again. "Or shall we keep playing?" But before he can respond or strike again, something shifts behind me. A presence lurking in the shadows of the barracks that sends a chill racing down my spine. I turn slowly to find Azrael standing at the entrance, arms crossed over his broad chest, those piercing eyes taking in every detail of this twisted scene unfolding before him. There's a flicker of something dark within him, an unease mixed with intrigue. And for a moment everything freezes between us. "Is this how you plan to gain power?" he asks softly but pointedly, stepping further into view where shadows dance around him like flames licking at wood. My heart quickens at his unexpected arrival. Adrenaline spikes and mixes dangerously with exhilaration coursing through me from dominating these soldiers. "They deserve this," I shoot back defiantly. "They're nothing but tools for their masters." The captain stands there, whip in hand, glancing between me and the trembling dark elves at my feet. I relish the power surging through me. It fills the space with a heady rush that drowns out everything else. "Again," I command, voice smooth as silk, laced with an undercurrent of authority. The captain hesitates but doesn't meet my gaze. He's caught between fear and obedience, and I drink in the chaos I've sown. But before he can strike again, Azrael's voice slices through the air like a blade. "Enough!" I spin around, narrowing my eyes at him. His towering figure blocks the light from behind him, casting an imposing shadow that momentarily silences my triumph. "What are you doing?" I ask, my tone sharp. Anger flares inside me as he steps closer, frustration etched on his face. "You're becoming reckless, Kara." His words hit like a slap. "If you keep this up, they're going to kill us both." I wipe a streak of blood from my cheek, warm and sticky, remnants of my earlier delight. The smile that had danced across my lips fades as reality crashes back in. "I'm taking control," I snap defiantly. Azrael shakes his head slowly, disappointment heavy in his gaze. "You're losing control." He steps forward and grabs my arm with an iron grip, pulling me away from the dark elves sprawled at our feet. "This isn't the way. Not yet." I jerk my arm free from his grasp, fire igniting behind my eyes. "You don't want to support me," I accuse, voice rising with each word like a crescendo, building toward chaos. "You're afraid of me." His jaw tightens. I can see it clench beneath his skin, like a coiled spring ready to snap. "I'm afraid you're going to get yourself killed," he snaps back. Frustration boils over in an instant. I shove him hard enough to make him stumble back slightly on his heels. My heart races at the thrill of defiance that floods through me. "I don't need you!" I spit out before turning on my heel and storming out of the blood-streaked room. As I push through the heavy door, slamming it shut behind me with a resounding crash that echoes down the corridor, I hear Azrael call after me. A low rumble lost amidst my fury. But what do I care? For too long I've been nothing but a pawn in their game, a human slave treated like dirt beneath their boots. Now here I stand with newfound strength coursing through my veins. They'll soon learn not to underestimate me. With each step away from that room filled with tension and conflict, adrenaline pulses within me, fueled by anger, but also something deeper. Something darker awakening inside that whispers sweet promises of power and vengeance. I stride down dimly lit corridors, lined with rough stone walls, echoing every footfall as shadows cling tightly to corners. They seem alive, as if they share in my growing fury and ambition. Chapter 19. Kara. I storm down the corridor, my heart pounding with rage. How dare Azrael question me? Didn't he say I had power? Didn't he see how easily I manipulated that dark elf? The walls seem to close in around me, but I refuse to let them suffocate my resolve. I step into a shadowed alcove, breathing deeply to steady myself. This is my moment, and no one, especially not Azrael, can take it from me. As I turn a corner, a dark elf saunters past, arrogance practically radiating from him. My pulse quickens at the sight. I feel that familiar surge of energy bubbling up inside me, hungry for release. It's intoxicating. "Hey!" I call out, my voice low and sultry. He pauses mid-stride, turning his head slowly toward me, with a look of curiosity mixed with annoyance. "Move along," he scoffs. A wicked smile curls my lips as the power pulses through my veins. "Jump from that wall," I command, letting the darkness within me spill into my voice. It wraps around him like a vice, binding his will to mine. His eyes widen briefly before blankness takes over. "Yes," he replies simply. I watch in fascination as he steps back and positions himself at the edge of the barracks wall, a drop high enough to break bones. The thrill races through me like fire as anticipation builds. "Do it," I urge, reveling in this control over him. He leaps without hesitation, his body soaring through the air as if gravity has no claim on him. Time seems to slow as he falls, arms flailing like a puppet severed from its strings. My heart races with exhilaration. This rush is unlike anything I've ever felt before, the absolute certainty of having someone at my mercy. There's a sickening crunch as he hits the ground below, echoing off the stone walls and making me shiver with delight. I stand there for a moment, watching him crumple to the ground like discarded refuse, utterly powerless beneath my command. At least I have this power. It's mine to wield as I please. The satisfaction swells within me. It's intoxicating and addicting. No more will I cower in fear or doubt myself because of Azrael's warnings or doubts about what I'm capable of. I can feel my confidence soaring alongside this new hunger for domination. Each heartbeat resonates with potential, dark magic thrumming beneath my skin, begging for more freedom to be unleashed upon this world of cruel, dark elves who have held me captive for far too long. I stride through the dimly lit corridors, my confidence swelling with every step. The flickering torchlight dances along the stone walls, casting shadows that seem to quiver in anticipation of what's to come. Each heartbeat echoes like a war drum in my ears, driving me forward, igniting the fire within. As I turn a corner, I spot Joy, a fellow slave I've known for years. Her sunken cheeks and weary eyes tell a tale of suffering that mirrors my own. I pull her aside, urgency fueling my movements. "Joy," I say, lowering my voice to a conspiratorial whisper. "We're getting out of here soon." Her eyes widen in shock, fear flickering across her face like a candle about to snuff out. "How?" she whispers back, glancing nervously over her shoulder, as if the dark elves might appear at any moment. A smirk plays on my lips as I lean closer, letting my fingers brush against her cheek gently. It's a bold move, a reminder that I am no longer just another nameless slave. "I have power now," I declare, letting the words hang between us like a promise. Real power, and I'm going to use it to destroy every last one of them. Joy blinks at me, uncertainty etched on her features. You really think we can do this?" she stammers, her voice trembling. I tighten my grip on her arm, firm but reassuring. "Trust me," I purr, allowing a hint of seduction into my tone. "They won't know what hit them." The conviction in my words starts to seep into her. I can see it flicker in her eyes, a spark of hope struggling against the weight of despair. "But how?" she asks again, doubt creeping back into her expression. I step back slightly and look deep into her eyes. The shadows dance between us as if reflecting the tumult within our souls. "You've seen what I can do," I remind her, recalling the thrill of power coursing through me when that dark elf jumped from the wall. "Imagine if we had more people, more strength." Joy's gaze darts around the corridor again, before settling back on me. What if they catch us? What if... Stop. My voice cuts through her fears like a blade. No more what-ifs. The resolve hardens in me as I continue. This isn't just about escaping anymore. It's about fighting back. I let go of Joy's arm and take a step back to survey her face. The weariness mingling with an awakening curiosity and excitement begins to grow. What do you mean? Joy asks cautiously. Listen carefully, I say, as I lean closer again, lowering my voice further so only she can hear me. We gather those who are willing, the ones who still have fight left in them, and we create an army. Her brow furrows in thought as she processes my words. They weigh heavy with possibility and danger all at once. What if they find out? Joy asks finally, biting her lip as anxiety creeps back into her tone. They will, I reply firmly but confidently, but by then it will be too late for them. A wicked smile spreads across my face as images flash through my mind. Dark elves cowering before us instead of lording over our lives. From the depths of the darkness of Protheka,
or clawing up from the realms of fantasy,
come the most fearsome beasts you have ever seen.
These monsters are done watching from the shadows.
Now, as they step into the light, something unexpected grips them.
Something even they can't fight off.
Love.
Vampires.
Demons.
Dark elves.
Gods.
Minotaurs. Creatures of light and dark.
They will protect their mates.
Do whatever needs to be done.
Morally grey heroes who will burn the world to protect the women who love them.
10 audiobooks.
Fall into over 60 hours of fantasy romance.
20 ebooks.
Over 1 million words of these brutes who will protect their women.
Even if they might destroy themselves in the process.
Get the immersive Protheka Fantasy Romance Bundle.
For 80% off, right now, dive into Protheka at a once-in-a-lifetime discount.
The first bundle to offer both ebooks and audiobooks on worldsofprotheka.com. Protheka's magic is eternal, and this Romantasy bundle will make it endless.
Chapter 20. Azrael. I lie on the bed, fingers digging into the coarse fabric as I stare at the ceiling, the weight of uncertainty pressing down on me. Thoughts of Kara swirl in my mind like a tempest. Her power grows by the day, and with it, her recklessness. I can feel it. She's teetering on the edge of something dangerous. If she pushes too far, she could attract attention we can't afford. The door bursts open, slamming against the wall with a deafening crash. Before I can react, dark figures storm into my chamber, their hands gripping my arms and dragging me to my feet. I don't resist. I know better than to provoke them. Not now. Not when I need to find out what's happening. They haul me through dimly lit corridors, each step echoing like a funeral march in my ears. Shadows flicker against stone walls as we pass under the faint glow of magical sconces. The oppressive silence stretches between us like a taut wire ready to snap. I scan my surroundings, adrenaline coursing through me as we approach the great hall where dark elves gather to plot and scheme. My gut twists. Something isn't right. They shove me through the door, and I stumble forward, catching myself just in time to avoid crashing into the floor. My gaze locks onto Kara, who kneels before a group of dark elves with another human by her side, a female, thin and nervous-looking. What is this? My heart drops as realization strikes me like a thunderbolt. They're betraying us. I push myself to my feet, fists clenched as I take in the scene before me. Kara kneels with her head bowed, a mask of submission painted on her face, but I see through it. The human beside her speaks rapidly, her words spilling out like a broken dam. She said we can't keep living like this. She wants us to come together, to fight back. Every word she utters cuts through me like a blade. My heart races, rage bubbling beneath my skin. How could she betray us like this? How could Kara, my ally, my desire, put herself in such danger? I step forward, breaking through the ranks of dark elves that surround me. "Stop!" I roar, voice shaking the walls. But they don't listen. Their attention is locked on the human. "She's been telling us about plans to escape," the dark elf leader sneers, eyes narrowing with malicious interest. "Plans for rebellion against our rule." The room pulses with tension as whispers ripple through the gathered elves. My breath hitches in my throat. This is not how it was supposed to go. Not when we've only just begun to harness her power. My blood runs cold at the prospect of them acting without understanding their true power or lack thereof. These humans are pawns in a game far larger than they realize. "Foolish girl," I hiss under my breath as anger wells within me, turning into something darker, something primal. They lean closer to Kara, scrutinizing her with sharpened gazes that seem to strip away every ounce of pretense she had clung to moments ago. "Is this true?" one asks sharply, venom dripping from his words as he stares down at her kneeling form. Kara shifts uncomfortably under their gaze, and that flicker of defiance dims into uncertainty. My heart sinks. This could end poorly for all of us if we don't act fast. "Are you so foolish?" I growl as I take a step closer, fighting against the urge to lash out at the dark elves surrounding me. "What do you think you're doing?" Kara looks up at me, her expression unreadable. There's no hint of fear or remorse on her face. "Azrael," she breathes as if my presence is unexpected yet welcome. "What have you told them?" My voice drips with anger and concern as I struggle against my captor's hold. The dark elves smirk at my fury but remain silent. "Do you think they'll let you walk free once they've used you?" I demand sharply. The slave straightens slightly, her determination shining through but tinged with an edge of stubbornness that sends alarm bells ringing in my mind. "Shut up, demon!" the silver-haired elf snaps, his voice sharp as a blade. "None of this was happening until you arrived. Strange deaths and behaviors, rebellion. This is your fault." The accusation strikes like a hammer against my chest, igniting a blaze of fury within me. I can't let them twist the narrative. Kara's awakening is not my doing. I may be bound by this wretched contract, but I won't let them turn me into a scapegoat. Hagaruz steps forward, eyes glinting with malice. "You will answer for the chaos you've brought upon us." His fingers twitch, and I feel it. The oppressive weight of the contract binding me tighten around my chest like iron chains. Pain lances through my body, a sudden jolt that knocks the breath from my lungs. I gasp, teeth grinding together as I struggle to remain standing. The dark elf revels in my suffering, pushing deeper into the magical bond between us. "Tell me everything you know," he demands, his voice dripping with sadistic pleasure. My mind races as I fight against the pain. I can feel their probing eyes on me, waiting for any sign of weakness, any confession that could be twisted to serve their agenda. But there are truths that must remain buried. Kara's powers are one of them. They're too dangerous to reveal. "No!" I manage to grit out through clenched teeth. My voice is hoarse but defiant. Hagaruz's smile widens as he increases the intensity of the magic flowing through our connection. The pain sharpens to a piercing agony, burning like fire in my veins. My knees buckle slightly. I force myself to stand tall despite it all. "You think you can escape?" he taunts. "Break the contract?" I won't give in to his taunts. My loyalty to Kara runs deeper than they understand. She has power beyond their grasp, power that even she doesn't yet comprehend. "Stop!" Kara's voice cuts through the haze of pain, fierce and demanding. I cast a glance at her. Her defiance lights something in me, a flicker of hope amidst this chaos. But Hagaruz isn't finished with me yet. "Speak!" he commands again, and I feel another wave of pain surging through me, like molten lava threatening to consume everything in its path. "Everything," he insists through gritted teeth, leaning closer as if trying to unearth secrets from deep within me. But I remain silent on what truly matters. her potential and our bond, a connection that cannot be severed by these chains or threats alone.
Chapter 21. Kara. The cold stone floor bites into my skin, but the discomfort is nothing compared to the agony in my chest. I look up, eyes wide, and freeze at the sight before me. Azrael is chained to a post, his powerful frame trembling as blood trickles down his back from fresh wounds inflicted by a dark elf's whip. Each crack of the lash sends shockwaves through my body, twisting something deep within me. "Stop!" I scream, my voice echoing through the chamber like a desperate prayer. But they just laugh, reveling in their cruelty, as if my pain is nothing more than an amusing distraction. My heart races. Each groan that escapes Azrael's lips feels like a dagger plunging deeper into my soul. A swell of rage erupts within me, fueled by helplessness and anger. But there's something more. The incubus blood coursing through my veins ignites like wildfire, demanding release. I close my eyes, squeezing them tight as I try to harness this new power pulsing beneath my skin. My breath quickens as I feel it building, coiling around me like a serpent ready to strike. I focus on the guards. Their laughter fades into silence as they turn towards me, expressions blank and vacant. "Kill each other," I whisper, feeling the weight of those words hang heavy in the air. The atmosphere shifts instantly. Their eyes glaze over with a strange obedience. In this moment, I am not merely a slave, I am a force to be reckoned with. As if compelled by an unseen hand, they draw their weapons simultaneously. A twisted grin stretches across my lips as they lunge at one another with frenzied ferocity. The sound of steel meeting flesh fills the chamber, a cacophony of chaos that echoes back at me like music. Blood sprays against the walls, painting grotesque patterns that blend with shadows dancing in flickering torchlight. The guards fight tooth and nail, each stab and slash bringing forth primal screams of betrayal and fury. It's beautiful in its brutality, a storm unleashed by mere whispers. "Let me go," I command now, feeling emboldened by their carnage, their deaths invigorating me further. With unsteady hands, I grasp at the chains binding me to this wretched place. They rattle under pressure but do not yield. Yet even here, on this cold floor, something stirs within me, an ancient instinct driven by power and revenge. Azrael gasps from his position. His gaze meets mine through bloodied lashes. There's pain there, but also something else. Respect, understanding. Whatever it is sparks a fire inside me that pushes back against despair. I fixate on him amidst the madness unfolding around us. The way his muscles tense with every strike he endures, while still managing to meet my eyes without flinching. He doesn't plead for mercy or show weakness. Instead, he seems proud, a silent acknowledgement that we are bound together in ways neither of us fully understand yet. Suddenly, one guard falters, caught between fighting his fellow soldier and obeying my command. The hesitation gives me pause. "Can I push this further?" "Finish it!" I shout fiercely, willing them all to succumb to chaos until only one remains standing, or none at all. Their resolve breaks entirely at that moment. They surge toward one another once more with renewed fervour fueled by blind rage, and suddenly it feels electric. The power surging through me feeds off their violence until it consumes everything in sight. One final cry pierces the air before silence envelops the chamber once again, a chilling stillness settling over what remains of those who dared torment Azrael and challenge me. Panting heavily now amidst broken bodies and spilled blood, I take stock of myself. The pulsating energy within begs for release still. But right now, all that matters is Azrael's battered form, struggling against chains far more unyielding than those around my wrists. I rush to Azrael's side, heart pounding in my chest. My hands tremble as I fumble with the bindings that keep him chained. The metal feels cold and foreign against my skin, but I focus on his face. His eyes are shut tight, brows knitted in pain. Hold on, I murmur, desperation lacing my words. With a final tug, the last chain snaps free. He slumps forward, groaning softly as he leans against me for support. Azrael! I catch him, my arms wrapping around his broad shoulders. He feels heavy against me, but I won't let him fall. I'm sorry, I whisper, my voice thick with emotion. I should have listened to you. He lets out a shuddering breath, his head resting against mine for a moment before he pushes himself away slightly to look at me. His glowing red eyes pierce through the dim light, filled with an intensity that causes me to shiver. You shouldn't have done that, he rasps, each word a struggle as he straightens himself, using me for balance. You put yourself in danger. It's my fault that you're here, I reply fiercely, the adrenaline still coursing through my veins. I had to do something. Azrael's expression softens for just a moment, before shadows cloud it again. Power is not something to be taken lightly. He winces as he shifts his weight onto his feet. You don't understand what you're tampering with. Maybe not, I say defiantly, lifting my chin. But I felt it. What's inside me is real. His eyes narrow slightly, as if weighing my words carefully. It can consume you if you let it. Before I can respond, the distant sound of footsteps breaks through the tension-filled air, a reminder of how precarious our situation is. Panic flares in my chest as I glance back toward the entrance where dark elves could appear at any moment. We need to move, Azrael insists suddenly, his voice low but urgent despite the pain lacing through it. I nod quickly and help him steady himself. Together we stagger towards a shadowed corridor just off the main chamber, the only escape route that might lead us away from danger. With every step deeper into darkness beside him, something primal awakens within me, a fierce determination to fight not just for our survival, but to claim what has always been denied, power over our fate and those who would see us broken.
Chapter 22. Azrael. The corridors pulse with an oppressive silence, the kind that weighs heavy against my chest. Each step beside Kara sends jolts of tension coursing through me, anticipation thrumming in my veins. I feel her anxiety as we weave deeper into the dark elf stronghold, the echo of distant footsteps growing louder with every moment. Kara grips my arm suddenly, her fingers digging into my skin. This is our last chance, she urges, urgency igniting her voice. We have to do it now. I nod, the gravity of her words sinking in. My mind races with possibilities. Freedom feels so close, yet remains tantalizingly out of reach. But then she leans closer, her gaze piercing through me. If we're going to do this, you have to stop holding me back. Reluctance surges within me. I want to protect her from every danger that lurks in the shadows. Kara, no. Her voice is firm, resolute. You need to trust me. I can help us both. With a heavy sigh, I concede. All right. It feels like a surrender, but perhaps it's what we need. What she needs. Before I can say anything more, a dark figure appears around the corner, a guard. My instincts kick in instantly. There's no time for hesitation. I slam him against the wall with a force that rattles my chains and reverberates through the corridor like thunder. The guard crumples, unconscious before he hits the ground. Kara's laughter rings out behind me, a sound both intoxicating and fierce. It fuels something primal within. She's not just surviving anymore, she's reveling in this chaos. Turning back to her, I catch sight of another guard stumbling into view. But this time it's different. Kara's eyes shine with a bright intensity as she pulls him into her thrall. The elf stands frozen in place, his sword slipping from his grip and clattering uselessly to the floor, as if he no longer possesses any will of his own. Kara leans in close, lips brushing against his ear as she whispers commands that wrap around him like chains made of silk. Drop to your knees, she murmurs softly, power lacing her words with an irresistible allure. The guard obeys without question, his expression blank as he sinks down before her. A rush of pride wells up within me at the sight. The power emanating from Kara is mesmerizing and terrifying all at once. She transforms before my eyes from a frightened human slave into a force capable of bending others to her will. Good, she breathes as she straightens up again, satisfaction dancing on her features. Her confidence radiates off her like heat from a flame, a dangerous glow that I know I'll be unable to resist. We need to move, I snap, my grip tightening around her hand. She lingers, a smirk dancing on her lips as if she's savoring every moment of this newfound power. Kara, I hiss, urgency spilling from my voice as I pull her away. We race down the corridor, the echoes of our footsteps bouncing off the stone walls like a warning. My heart pounds, adrenaline surging through me as we round a corner. But there they are, 2 guards blocking our path, their expressions unreadable in the dim light. Without a second thought, I surge forward. My fist connects with the first guard's jaw, a satisfying crunch resounding in my ears as he collapses to the floor. But Kara doesn't follow suit. Instead, she steps into the fray with an ease that makes my stomach twist. Her sultry smile blooms as she faces the second guard, eyes locking onto his like a predator spotting prey. You don't want to hurt us, do you? She coos, her voice smooth and inviting. I watch as his weapon wavers in his grip. The air thickens with tension and something else, something intoxicating that spills from Kara like perfume. His resistance crumbles before her. He shakes his head and drops his sword at her feet with a clang that echoes in the silence. A mix of admiration and dread grips me. She's powerful, more than I ever imagined, but it's dangerous how much she enjoys this control. I want to shake some sense into her, remind her of the stakes we face. Let's go, I urge again, pulling her back into motion before she can get any ideas about playing with him further. But she hesitates just for a moment longer. Azrael, she says softly, her gaze still on the guard who kneels before her like an obedient dog. Look at him. He's weak, I reply tersely, glancing over my shoulder at the guard whose face is slack with submission. And he won't be weak forever. Kara's smile falters slightly as if my words pierce through her euphoria. I can control them, she insists softly. Not forever. The urgency in my voice rises as another part of me urges caution. She might be treading on dangerous ground without realizing it. But before I can say more, we hear footsteps approaching from down the hall. Now! I bark and pull Kara away from the entranced guard just as shouts erupt behind us. We slip into the old storage room, panting as I lean against the door, listening for any signs of pursuit. The creaking wood and faint echoes of footsteps fade behind us, but my heart races, still caught in the aftermath of our narrow escape. Kara prowls the dim space like a lioness that has just made a kill, her excitement palpable. She moves with an elegance that makes my pulse quicken. We're not free yet, I say, my voice tight as I scan the shadows for lurking threats. I'm not worried. She smirks at me, brushing a loose strand of hair from her face with a carefree flick. The thrill dances in her eyes. She's intoxicated by it. I grab her arm, forcing her to stop. It's not just about the dark elves. My gaze locks onto hers, searching for any trace of the girl I first met, the one who fought to survive beneath their cruel hands. You're losing yourself. Her smile falters, replaced by something colder, a steely resolve that sends a chill through me. This power, I say, lowering my voice to match the gravity of my thoughts. I've seen what it does. Kara steps closer, heat radiating off her body as she trails her fingers up my chest, each touch igniting a fire within me. I'm still me, she whispers, her lips inches from mine. Can't you see that? My breath hitches. Desire floods my senses while doubts swirl in my mind like smoke. She feels different, charged with an energy that both captivates and terrifies me. Before I can respond, she closes the distance between us and presses her lips against mine. The world around us blurs, Every fear dissipates in an instant as our mouths move together with a desperate urgency.
Chapter 23. Kara. The air shifts when our lips part. No games, no sharp edges. Just Azrael's breath warm against my cheek as his forehead rests against mine. His hands skate up my sides, calloused palms catching on my tunic. But there's a hesitation in his grip I've never felt before. "You're shaking," I whisper, brushing my nose against his. His chuckle rumbles low, but it lacks its usual bite. You'd think centuries of existing would have prepared me for this. For what? He doesn't answer. Instead, his mouth finds the hollow beneath my ear, teeth grazing just enough to make my knees buckle. I arch into him, fingers knotting in his hair as he pushes my back against the cold stone wall. Our movements are slow, deliberate, nothing like the frantic clashes we've known. When his hand slips under my thigh, lifting me, I hook my legs around his hips without breaking the kiss.
This scene is about to get too steamy for this platform's comfort. As much as we'd love to keep going, their guidelines say we need to stop here.
To continue releasing these free audiobooks on this platform, we've got to play by the rules.
The passion doesn't end here.
Visit worldsofprotheka.com to hear the full, uncut version of this fantasy romance, and every daring moment that YouTube can't handle.
Use code YouTube30 for 30% off unabridged audiobooks in the Worlds of Protheka.
Don't let YouTube hold you back. Immerse yourself in a world of magic, danger, and unfiltered passion.
Protheka's magic is eternal.
Listen unabridged and you'll never want to go back.
Chapter 24. Azrael. I lie beside her, the weight of realization pressing down like a stone in my chest. The ceiling above is cracked, shadowed by years of neglect. Yet I can't take my eyes off Kara. Her chest rises and falls with a steady rhythm, and each breath stirs something within me. She sleeps peacefully, unaware of the tumult brewing inside me. Once I was a lord among demons, feared and respected. My pride was my armor, shining and unyielding. But now I sit here watching her, knowing she's stronger than I am. The shift in our dynamic gnaws at my insides, an undeniable truth sinking its teeth into my very bones. Kara's power hums in the air around us, electric and intoxicating. She leads with such confidence now. It's a heady sight that both infuriates and fascinates me. I've spent centuries clinging to my superiority, but here she is, this human girl awakening as an incubus queen, and I find myself struggling to reconcile that. I push myself up into a sitting position, running a hand through my hair as I stare at the dim room around us. This place is filled with memories of defeat and shackles, but now it's different. She's altered everything with her awakening. I think back to the Elder's whispers from long ago, the prophecies woven through our bloodlines, claiming that I was born for her. An incubus queen destined to usher in the next generation of power. They spoke of unity between demonkind and human essence, the balance that could change realms forever. But what do they know? How could they foresee this moment? Their words ring hollow now against the backdrop of reality. As much as it shatters my pride to admit it, maybe this is what I was meant for. Not just to lead or dominate, but to support her ascent, to stand beside her as she claims her rightful place. Her strength swells with each passing day while mine diminishes under the weight of chains binding me to this mortal realm. The thought sends anger coursing through me, a dark heat rising like smoke from hellfire. But even that anger feels impotent when faced with Kara's fierce determination. What does it mean for me? If she rises higher than I ever did, what then? Do I become just another shadow behind her throne? Or will she bring me along in this revolution she seems poised to ignite? I glance back at her sleeping form again. She looks peaceful now, innocent almost. But beneath that surface lies a tempest waiting to be unleashed. That thought ignites something else within me. Admiration mixed with an unsettling longing for closeness. Perhaps in this twisted fate we share, there exists potential for more than just power or dominance. The door rattles suddenly, a reminder of our precarious situation, and my heart races at the possibility of discovery. Yet instead of fear consuming me, excitement thrums through my veins like wildfire. Kara stirs slightly beside me but remains asleep, a goddess wrapped in shadows, and I stop myself from being drawn toward her essence even further. "Kara?" I whisper, my voice hoarse from too many nights spent wrestling with shadows. She stirs, blinking up at me, those amber eyes brightening like flames igniting in the dark. "I've been fighting it," I admit, my gaze locking onto hers. The intensity of my feelings floods through me like a tidal wave. But I know now. I was born to serve you, to protect you, to stand by your side forever. Her eyes soften, a hint of vulnerability breaking through her fierce exterior as she sits up, her hand resting on my cheek. "Azrael," she begins, but I can't let her finish. I pull her close, feeling her warm body as our foreheads touch. "I want to be yours. Completely." The words tumble out, heavy and earnest. "I'll be your knight, your protector, your slave if you wish it." My voice trembles under the weight of what I'm offering, a truth that unravels centuries of pride and arrogance within me. "I'll die for you if that's what it takes." A silence hangs between us, a charged moment where everything shifts and crystallizes into clarity. Her eyes shimmer like molten gold, and without another word, she leans in and kisses me. This kiss is different, not the ravenous hunger that had once consumed us, but a tenderness born of understanding and acceptance. It's soft yet electric, igniting a fire deep within me that pushes aside the shadows of my past life as a demon prince. In that moment, something changes irrevocably. I feel shackles dissolve that had nothing to do with chains or magic binding me to the Dark Elf's will. Instead, it's an awakening, an embrace of this newfound purpose alongside her. The kiss deepens as Kara pulls away just enough to gaze into my eyes again, searching for something unspoken between us. "Azrael," she murmurs softly, "you don't have to." "I want to," I interrupt gently, brushing my thumb across her cheek. A simple gesture imbued with meaning. "You've awakened something in me that I never knew existed." She hesitates but doesn't pull away. Instead, she threads her fingers through my hair and tilts her head slightly as if contemplating the weight of my declaration. "I can feel it too," she admits quietly, vulnerability slipping into her voice like honeyed darkness. As we sit there wrapped in each other's presence, the cold stone walls fading away, I see the flicker of power in her eyes grow brighter. This isn't just about strength, it's about trust, the intertwining fates of two beings who defy their very natures together. The fear gnawing at the edges of my mind slips away as determination takes its place. With Kara beside me, fierce and radiant, I'm not simply bound by duty anymore. I'm free to carve our path forward against all odds. "We'll take down the Dark Elves together," I vow quietly against her lips, before pulling back slightly to look into those fierce eyes filled with so much promise. "I swear it." Kara nods resolutely. A silent agreement formed between us, two souls united against an oppressive fate that had tried so hard to keep us apart. "Together," she breathes softly before pulling me back into another kiss.
Chapter 25. Kara. Everywhere is chaos as I stride forward, my presence commanding. Dark elves and humans alike scatter in the wake of my power. The thrill of it sends a shiver through me. I've never felt so alive. With a flick of my wrist, I raise my hand, and the dark elf soldiers freeze in their tracks, their eyes glazing over like glassy marbles. "You're mine now," I say, my voice dripping with the hypnotic pull of my incubus powers. Each word resonates through the air, wrapping around them like a silken thread. One by one they drop to their knees, surrendering their wills to me. I revel in the sight. The dark elves, once so confident and cruel, reduced to mere puppets at my command. A surge of power rushes through me as I turn to face the other humans. Behind me, they rise up, emboldened by what they see, fists raised, faces fierce with newfound determination. "Charge!" someone shouts, and the air fills with a roar of defiance. The human slaves rush forward, weapons glinting in the dim light as they take aim at the remaining dark elves. My heart swells. This is more than just survival. This is rebellion. The tide turns in our favour, and a smile spreads across my face as I watch them fight back against their oppressors. For too long we've cowered in fear. Now we rise together like a wave crashing against tyranny. "Fight for your freedom!" I call out to them, urging them on with every ounce of strength I possess. My voice slices through the din like a knife. It ignites something primal within them. And deep down, I know exactly what I want. To claim not just victory, but dominion over those who thought themselves untouchable. They will bow before me, before us, and acknowledge our power. A dark elf lunges toward me, rage twisting his features, but he's too late. With a mere thought, he stumbles forward into submission. "Kneel," I command softly but firmly. His body obeys instinctively as he collapses before me. Satisfaction swells within, a delicious hunger that mingles with the power thrumming in my veins. This is mine now, my rebellion and my destiny entwined with Azrael's vision for our future, a future where no one can take anything from us again. As long as I stand here, powerful and resolute, no force can stand against us. The chaos of battle swirls around me, but my focus narrows to the figure before us. Hagaru stands tall, the dark elf noble's sneer twisted with triumph. In his hand, he holds the orb of the contract, a pulsating sphere that seems to hum with malicious energy. I can feel its power thrumming in the air, and dread curls in my stomach. "You think you can stop me?" Hagaru's taunts, his voice smooth as silk, his eyes glint with something darker. Azrael's body tenses beside me. I sense his struggle against the pull of the orb. "No," he growls, his muscles quivering with the effort to resist its grip. Hagaru's chuckles, savouring our predicament. "Did you think this was all coincidence? Azrael was born to serve you, Kara. He was always meant to awaken your bloodline." "What are you talking about?" I demand, anger flaring in my chest like fire. "Everything," he says, his laughter vindictive. "The contract, it was designed to bind him to you, to make you both mine." He raises the orb higher, and I watch in horror as Azrael's body jerks forward against his will. "No!" I shout, stepping between them instinctively, my heart racing as adrenaline floods my veins. "He's not yours." The dark elf noble's gaze narrows on me, a predatory gleam sparking in his eyes. "You have no idea what you're capable of," he continues, relishing my confusion and fear. "I know all about your lineage, the human descendant of an incubus queen who is destined for greatness." My breath catches at his words. He knows too much. "I paid a high price for Azrael's summoning," Hagaru's boasts, leaning closer as if sharing a grand secret. "I knew that binding him would activate your bloodline and give me control over both of you." "No!" I scream again as another surge of energy washes over me from the orb, a force that makes every hair on my body stand on end. Azrael fights against it beside me. His determination fuels me. I refuse to let this twisted noble take control of our fate any longer. "Hagarus!" My voice carries through the space with unexpected power, a mix of fury and desperation that shakes even me. "You don't understand what we've become." He raises an eyebrow but doesn't respond immediately. Instead, he laughs softly, mockingly, as if I'm nothing more than an insect buzzing around him. "Do you think your newfound strength can rival mine?" His expression shifts slightly. There's a flicker of unease behind that bravado when he sees how fiercely Azrael stands at my side, despite being under siege by the contract's influence. But I feel it inside me, the incubus energy crackling like electricity beneath my skin, ready to unleash itself upon him. "Enough!" I command through gritted teeth, feeling a swell within myself, an awakening not just linked to Azrael, but intertwined with everything I've discovered about who I am meant to be. Hagaroos falters for a moment, as if sensing something shifting between us, a change that terrifies him more than anything else could. "You underestimate what we're capable of," I say slowly, deliberately pressing forward until I can feel Azrael's warmth radiating behind me, a reassurance that gives me strength. "Fight it!" I shout at him desperately as Hagaroos advances again, determined not just to possess us, but obliterate our spirits entirely. Azrael's eyes flash with defiance even amidst the torment. There's an unbreakable bond between us now, a shared purpose greater than any dark elf's greed or ambition could comprehend. I can see it in the tension coiling in his frame, and hear it in his strained voice. "I won't hurt her," he grits out through clenched teeth as blood trickles from his nose onto his lips, a reminder of how close he is to succumbing completely. "I'd rather die than betray her," he manages. This huge orc brings out the animal in me.
In a world where humans have been driven underground, living like rats is the only way to stay safe from the marauding orcs.
All my life, my only job has been to make sure I have enough to eat.
These orcs of the Burning Sun clan will vow to keep their human mates safe.
There is a nobleness to these giant savages, alpha male warriors who will protect their women at all costs.
Get this complete series of books following the Burning Sun clan for 70% off. Each book is a full-length monster romance that features a giant orc with eyes for his beloved, curvy human. Happily ever after guaranteed.
Protheka's magic is eternal.
This bundle will show you that size really does matter.
Chapter 26. Kara. As Hagaroos raises the orb, its power surges through the room, tugging at Azrael's body like a marionette on strings. I see the strain etched on his face, the fury and determination warring within him. "No," he growls, his voice a deep rumble that reverberates in my chest. Then he surprises me. In one swift motion, he snatches up a broken blade from the floor, the jagged edge glinting menacingly in the dim light. My heart races as he drives it into his own thigh. Blood spills over his hand, vivid and dark against his skin. "Azrael, stop!" I cry out, my voice cracking with panic as I rush toward him. But he shakes his head vehemently, face twisted in agony. "I'd rather bleed out than hurt you," he grunts through gritted teeth, determination mixed with desperation flickering in his eyes. I can't watch him do this. Each stab plunges deeper into my heart, then into his flesh. The magic still pulls at him relentlessly. I can see it struggling against his willpower. He's trembling now, each movement sending fresh pain through him as he keeps stabbing himself. Hagaroos's confident smile falters. Anger clouds his features as realization dawns on him that Azrael's plan to resist is working. "You're mine," he roars, lunging toward me with a dagger gleaming wickedly in his hand. My instincts kick in. I throw up my hands instinctively, feeling a pulse of dark energy ripple from my fingers. But Hagaroos is too close. Before I can react fully, pain slices across my arm as his blade tears into my flesh. I stumble back, vision swimming with agony and shock. Ragged breaths escape me as I fight to steady myself against the wall behind me. Blood trickles down my arm and pools at my feet. My mind races even as darkness edges around the corners of my vision. But through the haze of pain and chaos, something ignites within me, a flicker of power that feels both intoxicating and terrifying. I lock eyes with Hagaroos as I take a step forward again, letting adrenaline guide me past fear. You want me so badly? My voice comes out thick with confidence. The seductive resonance of my incubus bloodline flows through each word like honey laced with poison. His steps falter. Confusion flashes across his face before desire twists it further into something grotesque and desperate. Then hurt yourself for me. I purr softly but firmly, feeling that dark energy swell around us like a storm gathering force. The shift is palpable. It's almost electric as Hagaroos hesitates, his gaze riveted on me with a mixture of lust and dread that makes every hair on my body stand on end. Do it, I urge him softly, almost coaxingly. Every syllable drips with unrestrained power and control that courses through my veins now like wildfire. He grips the dagger tighter. There's a moment where uncertainty flickers across his features again before it hardens into resolve. The change unsettles me. This isn't just some game anymore. It's raw manipulation steeped in dark magic, one where both predator and prey are shifting roles rapidly. Hagaroos' hand twitches, the dagger hovering in the air. Then slowly, he drags the blade across his own skin, laughing maniacally as blood pours from the wound. Yes, yes, he whispers, his eyes wide with madness, stabbing himself again and again. I watch in horrified fascination as he drives the dagger deeper into his flesh, each stab more brutal than the last. My heart races. I'm trapped between revulsion and a twisted thrill. He's laughing, his voice high and deranged, lost to a darkness that echoes my own power. More, he mutters, his voice breaking before collapsing to the ground in a pool of crimson and insanity. His laughter fades into ragged breaths, the light in his eyes flickering out like a dying flame. I stand frozen, processing what just unfolded, a part of me repulsed while another revels in this display of dominance. It's intoxicating to witness someone so powerful reduced to this. Hagaroos' fingers tremble as he scoops up a handful of filth from the floor and forces it into his mouth, choking on the taste until he falls to the ground. I shake myself from the horror of Hagaroos' madness, my focus snapping back to Azrael. He lies on the cold stone floor, blood pooling around him, his face pale like a ghost. Azrael, I cry, dropping to my knees beside him. Panic surges through me as I see his shallow breaths and fluttering eyelids. Stay with me, I whisper, hands trembling as I press them against his wounds, desperate to stop the bleeding. But it's too much. He's lost too much blood. I can't let him slip away. Without thinking, I pull a dagger from my belt and slice my wrist, the sharp pain grounding me in this moment of chaos. Holding it to his lips, I command, "Drink." My voice shakes, fear twisting in my gut. At first, he doesn't respond. His body is too weak to react. But then I feel the warmth of his breath against my skin as my blood drips into his mouth. His eyes flicker open slowly, revealing that familiar glow even through the haze of pain. His lips part slightly, and he begins to drink, weakly at first, but then with a newfound strength that ignites hope within me. As I watch colour return to his face and the wounds start knitting together before my eyes, relief floods over me like a wave crashing onto the shore. Tears sting at the corners of my eyes as I cradle his head in my lap, feeling the weight of everything we've been through. "You're not leaving me," I whisper fiercely, my voice thick with emotion. His hand reaches up to rest against my cheek, a soft gesture that seems like it has no place after everything we've just been through. "I'm not going anywhere," he murmurs, each word laced with determination despite his weakened state. I lean down instinctively. Our lips meet in a soft kiss. There's no hunger or dominance this time, just a quiet intensity shared between two souls, bound together by fate and circumstance. When we pull apart, our foreheads rest against each other, breaths mingling in the stillness surrounding us. In this moment of vulnerability, I sense something shifting between us. A deep connection forged not just by desire, but by shared battles and unyielding loyalty. We're no longer just slaves caught in a cruel game. We're allies destined for something greater. You're mine. I vow softly into the space between us, knowing now more than ever that we must fight, not just for ourselves but for each other and whatever future lies ahead. Chapter 27. Kara. The memory of almost losing Azrael haunts me as we sit in the aftermath of the battle, the echoes of chaos still lingering in the air. I watch him, propped against the wall, his strength slowly returning. Each shallow breath he takes sends a ripple of fear through me, not fear of defeat, but fear of losing him. The thought of him walking away, leaving me behind in this cruel world, feels unbearable. I can't let that happen. Azrael, I say softly, my voice trembling slightly as I step closer. He looks up at me, and there's something open and trusting in his gaze that makes my heart ache. I brush my hands against his chest, feeling the powerful rhythm of his heart beneath my fingers. I can't lose you. Not ever. He frowns, confusion shadowing his features. You won't lose me, he insists, his voice firm and steady like a rock in turbulent waters. I'm yours. But I shake my head vehemently. The pounding in my heart escalates. No, I whisper, urgency thrumming through every fibre of my being as I place my hand on his chest once more. I need to make sure of it. Before he can react, before doubt can flicker across his face, I channel my incubus powers deep within me, drawing on that raw energy that swells like a storm inside my veins. A surge radiates outward from my core into him, filling the space between us with crackling energy. His body stiffens instantly. Surprise flashes across his features as if he's been struck by lightning. "What are you doing?" he gasps, but I hold him steady, binding him to me with the intensity of my magic. The energy wraps around Azrael like chains forged from pure desire, intense and unyielding, but instead of resisting it, he relaxes into it. His expression softens as awe takes root within those glowing eyes. Kara. He breathes out, and each syllable sends shivers through me. You want to enslave me? I nod slowly, tears welling in my eyes as a mix of desperation and determination floods through me. I can't let you go, I admit quietly, voice breaking under the weight of truth. I need you by my side. Forever. His hand reaches for mine. It's warm and reassuring as he squeezes gently. The gesture speaks volumes more than words could ever convey. There's no hesitation or fear swirling in his gaze, only unwavering devotion shining through. Then I'm yours, he whispers, with quiet strength coursing through each word that spills from those lips that have become a lifeline for me amidst chaos and uncertainty. Completely. My heart races at his declaration, emotions swirl inside me like a tempest. This bond we're forging is unlike anything I've ever known. It transcends mere possession or control. It's deeper than either of us could have anticipated. I offer my life to you, he continues softly, voice trembling with emotion that pulls at something deep within me. Something primal yet tender all at once. Do with me what you will. Those words wrap around us like an invisible thread connecting our souls. A promise forged not just by desire, but by understanding what we both stand to lose if we falter now. Azrael. My voice wavers again as tears spill over. The vulnerability feels raw, yet freeing at this moment between us. He shifts slightly forward. The energy coursing through our bodies creates an almost palpable tension. A connection born from fire and fury transformed into something pure and beautiful. Together then, I murmur, leaning closer until our foreheads touch, a silent vow shared only between us against all odds stacked against our survival. As I draw back slightly to meet his gaze once more, everything else fades away. The world outside becomes distant noise drowned out by this magnetic pull between us, a force that cannot be broken. Let's finish this. The mines rumble as the last of the explosives go off, collapsing the tunnels in a cloud of dust and flame. I stand beside Azrael, feeling the ground tremble beneath us. A deep roar echoes through the caverns, shaking loose debris from the walls and sending a cascade of rubble tumbling down. The dark elf stronghold, the very prison that held us captive for so long, crumples into itself, and I can't resist the surge of triumph. It's done, Azrael murmurs, his voice steady despite the chaos surrounding us. I nod, my face set in grim satisfaction, as we watch flames lick at the remnants of our oppressor's fortress. A strange sense of finality washes over me. We've won this battle. But I know it's only the beginning. The darkness that lingers in our hearts won't vanish with one explosion, but it feels good to witness the downfall of those who enslaved us. As we turn away from the ruins, I grasp Azrael's hand tightly, his warmth grounding me amid my swirling thoughts. We step back into the cool night air, and I look up at the stars flickering like diamonds against the inky sky. Freedom lies ahead, and it tastes sweeter than I ever imagined. After a long journey through shadowy realms and unyielding landscapes, we finally reach the glacis, Azrael's homeland. The atmosphere shifts as we cross into this world. An ancient energy vibrates through my veins. It feels alive here, pulsing with magic and history. The demon elders await us at the entrance to their domain, their eyes gleaming with recognition as they take in our presence. I feel their gazes land on me like weights, heavy yet full of promise. She's the one elder whispers to another, reverence thickening his voice. The queen of our clan. My heart races at those words. Queen. Me. I can't find the words as pride blooms within me while standing next to Azrael, my king. He stands tall beside me, shoulders squared with a newfound confidence that radiates power and purpose. This is what he was born for, a leader among his kind, and now I am part of that legacy. That night, under the cold glow of the glacis moon, we find ourselves seated together on a stone ledge overlooking a vast valley shimmering with starlight. The chill air brushes against my skin, but beside me is warmth that pulls me closer to him. Azrael's gaze is steady as he looks at me. His dark eyes shine with emotion that runs deeper than mere desire or lust for power. There's something raw and vulnerable there, a longing I can't ignore. I've never felt love before, he admits quietly, breaking our silence like an awakening dawn. His voice carries a weight that makes my heart skip a beat. I turn to him fully now. Every instinct within me ignites at his words. But I know now. I love you, he continues softly, not just because you're a queen, but because you're you. Those simple words settle around us like warm blankets on a cold night. They wrap around my heart and hold it tight. Tears prick at my eyes, not from sorrow but overwhelming joy, as everything we fought for flashes before me. Freedom from chains both physical and emotional. I lean in close until our foreheads touch, a shared moment where time ceases to exist between us, and press my lips against his gently but firmly. It's not a kiss born from power or dominance. It's an affirmation, a connection forged through trials faced together. In this instant, something shifts within both of us. A realization settles in my bones. This is where we belong, in each other's arms amidst uncertainty, yet brimming with possibility. As we pull apart slowly, his gaze remains locked onto mine, intense yet tender, filling every crevice of doubt left behind by our pasts with hope for tomorrow. In this place filled with darkness once known only to demons like him, we carve out light together. Together, I whisper into the stillness surrounding us. It's not just a promise. It's fate woven by our hands intertwined against all odds. Azrael nods solemnly before tightening his grip on mine, as if vowing never to let go again. And deep down inside, I know he won't have to ever again.
Chapter 28. Azrael. The night air of the glacies is crisp, a stark contrast to the heat radiating off my skin as I watch Kara. She lies beside me, her gaze lost in the vast expanse of stars above. The journey that brought her here to my realm seems almost surreal, a path paved with struggle and strength, leading to this tranquil moment. I drink in the sight of her, bathed in the silver glow of the moon. Her features, softened by the stars' gentle light, are etched with an ethereal beauty that takes my breath away. The curves of her body, the swell of her bosom beneath the fabric of her dress, stir a primal hunger within me. It's a desire that goes beyond the physical. It's a yearning to claim her fully, to bind her to me in every conceivable way. My hand acts of its own accord, drawn to the warmth of her skin. I trace the contours of her body, lingering on the peaks of her bosom. The sleeping beast within her stirs at my touch, a low purr resonating in her throat as she blinks lazily at me. With a rough tug, I pull down the top of her dress, bearing her to the cool night air, to my lustful gaze. My palm covers her chest, feeling the weight of it, the responsiveness of her pebbled nub as I roll it between my fingers, pinching just enough to elicit a shiver from her. "Do you need to screw?" Her voice is a sultry murmur against the quiet of the night, a sound that sends a jolt of desire straight to my core. "No!" My response is a guttural growl as my need for her transcends the animalistic act of mating. "I need to breed." Her smirk is a sight to behold, a mix of seduction and amusement playing across her lips. She lifts her hips, pulling at the hem of her dress to push it up around her waist, revealing the apex of her thighs. With a deliberate slowness, she parts her legs for me, an unspoken invitation hanging in the air between us. "Go ahead," she purrs, her eyes gleaming with mischief and power. "Tonight, I'm yours to use however you please." Sorry for the interruption. I know you were gearing up for a steamy scene, but it's way too hot for this platform.
If we want to keep sharing our stories for free, we have to abide by this platform's guidelines.
To get the full unabridged audiobook, go to worldsofprotheka.com.
Browse through unabridged audiobooks, countless ebooks and bundles offered at a discount.
If the thought of me whispering all the dirty details into your ear isn't enticing enough, use discount code YouTube30 to get 30% off of all digital products.
Story after story, audiobook after audiobook, the Worlds of Protheka are waiting for you.
Protheka's magic is eternal.
But unabridged, it's unforgettable.
Chapter 29. Azrael. I soar through the frigid winds of the glaciers, the icy expanse sprawling beneath me like a shimmering blanket of crystal. Each powerful beat of my wings propels me forward, but I can feel the weight of time pressing down on me. Late again. I curse under my breath, knowing full well that my queen won't let me forget it. The thrill of flight doesn't quell the knot tightening in my stomach. Today's venture needs to impress. With a final thrust, I descend toward the stone brick landing. My feet touch down lightly, wings folding against my back with practiced ease. The chill in the air prickles against my skin, and I relish the sharp bite that reminds me I'm alive in this frozen realm. As I stride through the massive arched doors leading into the palace, demons bustle about like frantic shadows, servants rushing to and fro with arms full of silks and food trays. They scatter before me, eyes wide as they take in my imposing form. A high demon draped in shadows and arrogance. A few nod respectfully. Their faces hold traces of both fear and admiration, but I don't bother acknowledging them. They know who commands this space. My thoughts fixate on what I've brought with me. A gift for Kara, a token of peace to quell her irritation at my tardiness. I hope it's enough to smooth over her fury. She deserves no less than every ounce of adoration I can muster. As I approach the doors of the throne room, 2 guards stand sentinel, muscular figures adorned in black armor that gleams dully against the palace's muted stones. Their postures are rigid as they catch sight of me, their expressions betraying just a hint of trepidation. "Open!" I command. They exchange a glance laden with hesitation before one replies. "Sir, she's quite upset. She expected you nearly an hour ago." A growl rumbles in my throat, irritation flaring hot. "Yes, I'm well aware," I retort sharply, forcing myself to temper my frustration for Kara's sake. "Now, open the doors so I can see my wife." The guards exchange another glance before stepping aside reluctantly, swinging open the heavy doors with a creak that echoes like thunder across polished marble floors inside. Light spills out from within a stark contrast to the somber exterior, casting shadows that dance around me as I step into the throne room. Golden rays spill from tall windows high above where icicles hang like ornate chandeliers amid swirling frost patterns. And there she is, Kara seated on her throne with an elegance that radiates even amid her ire. Her presence commands attention. Every corner of this vast chamber feels charged by her energy as she reclines regally upon dark velvet cushions, emerald eyes flashing with barely contained displeasure. My heart races despite myself. It always does when she looks at me like this, half annoyance, half intrigue, and today is no different. "Azrael," she says sharply, as if daring me to explain myself for being late. I step forward confidently until I'm just shy of her dais. "I come bearing gifts," I declare with a flourish that makes her brow arch slightly. A flicker of curiosity breaks through her annoyance. It's enough for me to push past my earlier trepidation and present what I've brought, a small box crafted from obsidian, with silver filigree coiling around its edges like ethereal smoke. "Open it," I say softly. Kara lifts the lid of the obsidian box, her eyes widening as the light catches on the ring nestled inside. It's a simple wedding band, yet striking. A deep, glossy black stone surrounded by intricate silver filigree that reflects the light like stars scattered across a night sky. "This," she whispers, brushing her fingers over the smooth surface, almost reverently. I take a breath, my heart pounding. I know it isn't custom among demons to care about weddings or rings or any of that nonsense, I say, my voice steady despite the weight of vulnerability creeping in. But I care about you. I want to give you a piece of your own culture. I reach for the ring and slip it onto her finger, careful and deliberate. Her gaze drops to admire it, and for a brief moment, I catch a glimmer of joy flickering in her eyes. But just as quickly as it appears, that expression vanishes as she turns her gaze back to me. No smile remains. "Thank you," she says, her tone clipped and devoid of warmth. I feel my chest tighten. The gift should have melted away some of her anger. After all we've endured together. "Oh, come now, my queen. I know you adore it." As if sensing my desperation for reconciliation, she rolls her eyes and turns her head away defiantly. The gesture stings more than I'd like to admit. Kneeling at Kara's feet, I bask in the warmth radiating from her swollen belly. The throne room, once a place of tension and ambition, has transformed into our sanctuary. I'm no longer the demon prince I once was. That identity feels like a distant echo. Now, I am simply Azrael, her devoted servant, her lover, and soon, a father. As I glance up at her, my heart swells with an overwhelming sense of belonging. Kara's gaze pierces through me, fierce and commanding, yet filled with an affection that softens my edges. "I'm yours," I whisper, each word dripping with devotion. Her fingers weave through my hair, a gesture so gentle it makes my breath hitch. In this moment, I feel forgiven for the weight of past mistakes. The power imbalance between us doesn't diminish our connection. If anything, it amplifies it, our love growing darker and more complex like the shadows around us. A smile spreads across my face as I rest my head against her leg, savoring the moment, the solidity of her presence grounding me. Here at her side is where I've always wanted to be. What can I do to make it up to you, my queen? My hand glides over the curve of her baby bump. The life we've created together feels like magic, a promise of new beginnings intertwined with our tumultuous past. Kara peers down at me, a glimmer of mischief lighting up her eyes. A vicious smile curves her lips that sends heat pooling in my core. Do the thing with the tongue and your tail. I can't help but grin wider at her playful command. My pulse quickens in anticipation as I start lifting her skirts, revealing the fabric that clings to her legs like a second skin. Your wish is my command, I reply playfully, letting my voice drop to a sultry whisper.